It's going.
All right.
Is anyone
What?
is anyone getting like a echo?
I hear it on
I
your
can
end.
kind of hear it.
I hear it on your end, but nowhere else.
Okay, give me a sec.
Pause, Heath, and start.
It's recording.
So, it is the morning of the 8th day. Bar is fairly busy with people, enjoying their breakfast, getting ready for the day, and then heading out towards the inn. As some of you guys make your way out, you notice Eric in the corner, having a bit of a drink. Alexa seems to be momentarily talking to him and then walking off with a wave, leaving him there now. What are the rest of you up to?
That last part, I'm sorry. My internet is being dumb.
Repeat the last part you said?
The last part of what you said, I didn't hear it.
Oh, I said, you guys come out into the open bar area. See Eric is having a drink. Alexa's momentarily chatting with him and waving and walking away, heading out the front door. What are the rest of you up to?
In this particular case, this is all happening on the 8th day, right?
Yep.
Well, in that particular case, I suppose he would just immediately look around for the others, or did we all head in at the same time? Just re-ascertaining.
I mean, that's up to you guys.
How early in the morning is it?
And how is Eric looking?
Eric is scowling at his drink, and it's not really like looking at anyone or saying anything.
Also,
Seems to be.
walk over to, I guess, what would be considered 90 degrees from where he's sitting at the table, kind of over to the. You just take a seat and kind of not stare, but he'll kind of look over at the drink that he's kind of glaring at, looks ahead, and then just kind of quietly pipes up, just, "There's something wrong?"
You know, second fucking time someone's asked me that today.
I wonder why.
Couldn't tell you.
Did you say, "Should I"? Is that what he said?
No, he said, couldn't tell you.
He just kind of quick bounce of the eyebrows and kind of sits there in silence. In a way, kind of hoping that he continues to say.
Eric does not. He knows that trick.
Alright. In that case, it's just. Well, I take it that you're not the type to just wake up immediately pissed. Something had to have done it, right?
I'm fine. I just long night.
You know, it is one thing if you simply don't want to talk about whatever it is. You can tell me to fuck off and I will walk away. But do me a favor, don't lie to yourself or me.
Yeah, at that, Eric would look up at Klaus, and he would just shrug and say,
Eric would note that he'd actually, Klaus had been looking at him when he looks up, just kind of waiting, but yeah.
yeah, and he would say, I'm not lying.
Insight check.
Do it. And Eric on the jam layer, whatever you're rolling.
Sure.
You get the sense he is full of it.
He kind of clenches his jaw, kind of looks down at his fists. Not his fists, just his hands, lightly curled on the table before unfurling them. And looking back over towards Eric. Well, in the event that your day went fine, what all did you do this week?
Failed mostly. I looked into, and he leans forward to make sure that none of the other patrons here, he would say, I looked into Rubius.
What about the patrons and Ruby?
Oh no, that was me saying, like he was just being quiet.
Oh, okay. He was being... Okay, understood. Looking into Rubius. Did you find anything?
Unfortunately not.
Slow nod. Do you know much about the royal families? I should note that Klaus is kind of seeing that this is the way the conversation's heading. He kind of puts on his hood and is keeping his voice low.
Noted.
Yeah, Eric would just shake his head.
Just slow nod in that. Well, to put it frankly, they're not very good news. From the little that I do know, at least about the Darlingtons, they are, to put it easily, lightly, not great people at all. But as long as we stay out of his way, there should not be a threat. Any particular reason why Rubius, of all people, entered your...
You guys mentioned him before as someone to avoid. Wanted to know more.
Well, luckily, the amount of times that an average person actually runs into a Darlington is pretty low. I know that I can't see the future, but my money is that we won't run into him for at least a while. At least I hope so. For a moment, he kind of... Are the tattoos on his neck visible?
You're looking at his neck, you said?
Yeah.
He's wearing bandages around his neck.
Okay. He just kind of looks about. God. Before... kind of reaching up to scratch a bit at the back of his head. That, He kind of looks like he's trying to say something, but each time that it kind of comes up, he kind of tries to go around.
Yeah, Eric, seeing his trouble, would just go, use your words.
Gets a little smirk out of him before kind of returning back to his neutral expression. I've been meaning to actually talk to you at some point. That drug that you were on last week.
Yeah, what about it?
How long have you been taking it?
Next question.
Have you ever tried to quit?
Do we have to do this?
He clenches his jaw again, closes his eyes, takes a deep breath. We don't have to, but I've convinced myself that maybe something good will come out of this. So,
Do you convince yourself, or is it Alexis?
he kind of, for a moment, it looks like he... Nah, his eyebrow twitches just for a little bit as he hardens his look just a little bit more. Not enough to be aggressive, but definitely, before he was kind of looking off to the side, but now he looks back into his eye. Just me.
How about this? Let's get the others. Have a friendly card game. And we play like we did the other time.
And in the event that you end up having to answer my question, you would be comfortable with doing it around everyone else.
He thinks on that and shrugs. Yeah. He kind of laughs and looks at Klaus and just goes, "Why would you think I have anything to..."
Everyone has something to hide. And kind of looks over at him.
Yeah, you would just shrug again. I know Alexis left, but do you know who's here? I haven't really been paying much attention.
Admittedly, me neither. Last person I had talked to was Alexis. The others, well, they've been, I think, scattered all over the...
If Neri or Tenzing want to take that chance to walk on it.
There's Danny, because I'm good either way. I was about to walk in unless you got some.
Probably at the bar being awkward and being like, yes, I want 1 alcohol, please.
Would Klaus and Eric just kind of slowly turn their head at that and just look over to where he is?
Yes, hello, please give me 1 alcohol. That's all I need.
The bartender just looks at you, Neri. It's just like I said before, what kind?
What kind do you have? Your best.
An ale it is. Turns away.
Okay. He smiles and looks for his money, like, where did I put my phone? Kind of like that. Like, oh shit.
A thing of ale is set down in front of you, and the man holds out his hand, holds out his palm for just a copper piece.
How much is it?
Just a copper piece.
Okay, I got this. I'll pay him and grab my drink and like. He stares at it a little bit, like I don't know how to drink this shit, so I will. He sips it and makes this disgusting face, like, oh boy, I hate this. But I'm a big boy, I will do it. So he takes a second sip and winces again. And then looks around, like, is anyone watching me do this?
Klaus and Eric
like,
just staring
there.
right at you.
Oh. He winces again, like, ah, shit. That was awkward. And walks over, because you gotta. That was, this is really good. Have you tried it?
Eric just holds up his own.
Klaus just like stares at him with like this almost like wounded look at just what he said and everything.
No, he doesn't stop like looking at him and just sits down next to Eric.
In between the both of them, or on the other side?
As far away as he can get from Klaus, but like next to
The other
Eric.
side. Got it.
Yeah, the other side. Yep, opposite end, just as far away as possible.
Instead of Klaus perpendicular to Eric. Got it. God damn.
Oh.
Well,
What are you guys doing?
small talk.
We're, yeah, sure. You wanna play a card game?
Sure. I mean, would you teach me? I played checkers the other day. It was really fun.
Checkers. Right. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can teach you how to play this. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Klaus just kind of was still looking a little bit curiously, inquisitively towards Eric, but his eyes eventually drift over to Neri, and he's just like, "What did you do with your week?"
Cut out at the end of your sentence, Judah.
Yeah.
At
I
the
didn't
end
hear
of
it at all.
your week.
Did y'all catch me this time?
No, not at all.
No. Okay.
Asked what you do with your week.
Yeah.
Oh. I bought this, and he has like a new staff. Like it's not magical; it's just like a stick, big stiff. I got that, and I played checkers, and I searched for a church, but I couldn't find anything. And I went to the library. That's pretty much it. How about you guys?
Trained with Alexis, mostly. Bought something, and he kind of, out of one of the. Hi.
Hi. Sorry,
one of-
I don't mean to interrupt.
Alrighty then.
I don't know where you guys are at. What's been going on? Someone please help me.
Ask that in text. Somebody can fill you in there, please.
Did I interrupt a scene?
Yes, I'll know that.
I'm so sorry.
Continue what you're saying, Judah.
Give me a minute while I remember. There it is. So, he just kind of motions over towards one of the blades, a new a new scabbard on his side. Looks pretty standard, generally speaking, but he slowly pulls out the blade, and there's this ethereal glow to it before he sheaths it again. But other than that, nothing else.
Where did you get that?
Well, I always had this blade, but I got this one. It's a I think it's an enchantment on my blade from Pinky's shop. Have you met her yet?
I think technically in universe, yes, but technically,
Yeah.
no.
I don't
That
think
was
we
in a
have.
recent day.
It never happened.
That we're gonna do that next session, but it happens. Okay, to make time frame easy, we'll say not yet, and that happens either 9th day or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Eric would shake his head. Not yet. I looked for her shop, but could not find it. Can't really make heads or tails of this city. Kept getting lost.
Me too. It's kind of bigger than what I've been to.
This is not even one of the bigger cities, at least in the north. Are you both even Oh, it is. It is a big bitch. Okay, got it.
Yep.
But, I mean, even then, it's like... Actually, because of reasons, I will say what I just said, even still. At least not in comparison to the capital. Are you two even... Do you two know about the city much?
I mean, I know where it is. Technically, I've never been.
Never been to cities or Findlefair?
That sounds like a question for the card game. I think. Oh,
Okay.
there's a rule for how I kind of like to play it with Klaus here. Instead of betting money on it, since I mean, you know, taking money from each other, I don't think is much fun. It's much more fun taking money from actually rich bastards who gave them parlors. We get to ask each other a question. We get to ask whoever we want the question when we win a round.
Ooh,
Also,
Mary looks very uncomfortable suddenly, like, ooh. Ooh. Okay, sure. Do we, I mean,
Go ahead.
do we use a spell for that? Like, or is it just, normal?
No, we just answered the question.
Okay.
As hopefully truthfully, but we don't have to. We can give as much detail as we're willing, as we're comfortable with.
He smiles and says, okay, that's fair.
While they're setting up, I'll say that Tenzing comes to the door, and he has his longsword on him, but doesn't have any of his armor really, and also has his own staff. It's just a long stick with some bandages wrapped on it. It's just a stick. Walking in and notices the others English at the table. He looks a bit tired, but otherwise perks up at the sight of everyone and says, "Morning."
Hey,
Klaus will nod at him.
What are you all up to?
The makings of a card game, apparently.
Is it an open card game?
It is.
Okay. Watch.
Feel free to join. What do you call it? Not betting money. We are. The winner gets to ask one of the losers a question every round.
Could Varric walk in or no?
Yep,
you
this
walk
is
in.
happening out in the open of the bar.
Okay. Varric will walk in. Two things you notice. Actually, probably three. Thank you, Danny.
Sorry, I was looking at my phone. It was some stupid meme. I'm sorry.
No, it's gonna be funny. Don't worry. First off, you would notice he's wearing this sort of like silver, like kind of a half bracer, just sort of something that kind of runs along half his forearm. It has this vine-like design to it, with a lot of empty space showing his skin underneath. But on the outside of the forearm, you see what looks to be a harp made of leaves with 5 strings on it. Now on the backside, if you were to take a look, you'd see a butterfly. You also notice that Varric seems to be carrying a few more tools on his possession. Just a few things that are hanging off his belt, like a few small boxes. And most notably, out of the time frame of this week, it's the 8th day, yes, have we like actually met up to do other things like the art lesson or the Binky shop thing?
Oh yeah.
Binky Shop is going to happen next session, so I'm going to, just for my own ease, it's going to be the 9th day. As for the art lesson, that's already happened.
Okay. So you guys would probably see Varric with these 2 little ears at the top of his head and a big bushy squirrel tail walk in. Also, he has a beard now too.
Oh yeah, Tenzing has a lack of beard. And also staring at Varric, just like, are those the beans or the rock? Or neither of those.
No, that's neither.
Experiments.
Yes, very much. Did you try some?
Oh, is that why you had the bunny ears?
Yes, I heard about that, Peter Cottontail. How's it going for you?
You had bunny ears?
Yes, you did apparently.
He just blinks twice.
Oh, are you
and
okay?
Then he's just like, at extra speed, extra springy, and the ears could rotate, so that's something.
Oh, you found some positives to go along with it. Me, I just mostly like sleeping up to next to this thing. It's so soft as he just kind of like moves his tail in front of him and just starts petting it. It's so soft. Also, does anyone have any nuts? I got a craving.
And Tenzing just looks sad. Just the fact that he missed it. And looks over at Varric's tail. Can I pet it? So I don't have any nuts. But I missed the bunny ears, what?
Yes, you may pet it. And Varric will let Tenzing pet his tail. That's such a weird statement.
Meanwhile, I'm assuming they're both heading towards the table. You know? I guess whatever space is open. Tenzing will sit next to Klaus.
You mean Stan?
Or Stan. He will pull a chair away. He'll open it up for Varric, since he's gonna sit down with him as well, I'm assuming. But he'll put the chair away so then his large mass can just kind of sit in front of the table.
Got
Oh,
it.
baby.
Thank
Well,
you, friend.
since you're sitting right next to him, we would say that upon only recently, Klaus suddenly looks like he's zoned out. Just
Klaus, you okay there?
Tilts at him.
Hey, buddy. And Varric will just pat his shoulder.
he kind of jumps a little bit, and
You
seems
okay
when
there?
he comes back to.
You okay there, buddy? You seem a little off.
I'm alright.
So what have you all been doing with your... Like, are you sure? Like, it's okay if things aren't going well. Do you want to talk later?
He kind of looks over towards Varric and... There's no shit. Yeah, no, he would know by now. You would notice that there's a semblance of fear in his eyes, but he just slowly shakes.
Here, why don't you and I talk later? I'm a rather good listener, if nothing else.
Nikki, throughout the span of the week, would I have noticed anybody from the party giving me odd look?
Other than earlier in the week, Eric noticing the bunny ears?
Noticing, or did he look like he already knew?
Noticing.
Okay. Then slowly, I would say that little look kind of slowly seems to fade away as he just slowly nods and will bring a hand up to his to just kind of pinch the bridge of his nose before looking around towards the rest of them, towards everyone, and it's just Eric's going to have us play a bit of a card game. Do you all want to play?
Sure. Are you sure you're okay?
He just scrunches his eyes and looks over towards Varric and kind of nods slowly with a bit more resolve.
Alright, well, if you change your mind, let me know. You know where to find me. But
You
before
know
we start this game, how's the rest of your week's been going?
Eventful.
Somewhat eventful, I suppose. And I'll note that Tenzing noticed, like, Klaus looking distant, and then Eric, and he's probably hiding a bit of his skull, but I don't know if there's anything still lingering there, and then Neri making a face each time he drinks a little sip of the ale, just like, oh, just thinks to himself, this is an interesting morning. But along with Varric offering for Klaus to talk, he gives a look if Klaus is watching, just offering the same thing, and puts a hand on, just like lightly on his back, and will keep it there for a bit while answering Varric's question. Just, let's see, well, did some training. It's hard waking up in the morning. It's so hard waking up in the morning. And, well, and he looks at Neri. Oh, looks like we're staff buds now. Right. I didn't
Eric just kind of cocks an eyebrow at that. It's like, alright.
Among other things. Well, you know, my usual hobby, but now I have some actual material for it. And,
Is it?
it's much. Yes.
Your hobby you mentioned. What is it?
Oh, right. He sets the staff down somewhere, on just leaning on the table, and he will look. He'll reach into where usually he has his jacket on, but realizes he doesn't have pockets, and he just kind of does the same thing that Neri did earlier, where he's just like, "Where the fuck is my phone?"
Oh baby. Oh no.
Realizes he doesn't have his jacket on. Just oh, right. Actually, one second, and he will walk away and go over to the wait, shit, right. Is Tenzing's stuff still in Klaus's room?
Oh no, he would have returned it if by the end of that.
Okay.
Why is it there though?
He would probably ask him to keep it there just because he's sleeping. He's been sleeping in the corner of the inn outside.
Oh, then yeah, you would
yeah,
still have it there.
Okay. He would quickly ask, like, "Oh, can I get something for your room really quick?"
He just kind of zoned out just like a little bit again, but he kind of slowly looks over and nods before getting up quickly to grab before he kind of turns around and he's just, what exactly?
His eyebrows furrow at that for a second.
Did you just want me to get your entire bag? You know you can't fit through those doorways.
I can't really fit through it. It's just in the main bag, there's a small one. It's a paper bag that has a bunch of string in it.
All right, I'll grab it. And he
Right.
goes ahead and quickly springs back and forth, just handing, tensing the bag once he gets to it.
Right, and while he's getting it, gives his back a quick 2 pats, and then looks at Neri as he's coming back. Well, I like to weave things, so flower crowns, bracelets, and the like. And so far, I've been using material that are not sustainable, I suppose. The brass bracelets that he as Klaus comes back, and he points at the 2 bracelets that are on his wrist, and also points to, does Varric still have his grass bracelet?
If it's still like not like completely withered and like destroyed, you probably.
If it's not withered, I mean, at this point, I assume both of the grass bracelets are probably starting to fall apart.
Yeah, like if it's falling apart by this point, he probably doesn't have it.
Yeah, it's like, grass dries and stuff, and it eventually withers. So he notes this. He notes that and makes a face just like, oh yeah, right. Yeah, I like those. So and he takes out the bag and he sprays the contents onto the table, and there's a whole bunch of embroidery strings, embroidery floss packets, and you'll notice that some of the colors are familiar. You'll see green that matches Varric's coats. You'll see the crimson red that matches Klaus's
Personality.
Personality and hood. Even there's also black that matches Neri's jacket, cloak, or like the dark gray that matches the cloak. I'm assuming, what was it? Dark blue? That's Eric?
Dark red.
Dark red. Okay, right. The dark red folks. So, like another version of the red, there's the crimson red, there's like the darker red, and like the light blue of Alexis, and all these colors. And some of the brace, he started a few combinations, so there's like bits that are like halfway done, one that's not even started but tied, and he puts them out. Just I'm making these on and off. Oh, I started really last night, so it's gonna get a whole lot of progress.
Yeah, they're looking good from what I can see.
Thanks, mate.
He
Also,
smiles like super bright and says like, "That sounds fun. Looks like a good hobby to have. It's very pretty."
Thanks. I used to do this a lot back home. My mother and grandmother taught me how to do these. So I guess I should go for it. But if any of you want to learn, these things cost a lot, so I could show you.
Okay.
I'm currently working on learning something else at the moment, but once I'm done with that, I'd love to learn.
All right. What are you learning?
Well, Nikki, would I have had the opportunity to give my gift to Binky yet?
Yeah.
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 Well, okay. Well, I made something for someone, and I don't want to say if they liked it or not because I don't know.
I mean, it's Binky.
Would she like it?
She likes everything.
But how much was it? More than usual? This is something we gotta roll. We got.
Yeah, it'll be later. So.
Okay,
Just
well,
assume
army.
it's still like it's still a like, regardless.
All right. Well, I made something for Binky. She seemed to rather like it.
Oh, that's right. You've been Yeah, I haven't really seen you much around the inn. I've seen you with everybody.
I've been
doing their
busy.
own thing.
I've been doing a lot. But oh, that reminds me, everyone. I still have yet to have our group art lesson. Who would like to join me for that?
Tenzin raises his hand.
Didn't we already have it? Okay.
Yeah, that would have already happened from now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we decided on like the 7th day this would have happened. So.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought,
earlier.
I thought you said we didn't do that yet. My bad.
Good.
That's right.
Eric would not have been there.
No?
He would have been missing for most of the 7th day. Don't worry, it was not you.
Aw. So, I've been quite busy. So, yeah. Right. No, I've been quite busy just doing things like... I've been doing a lot of studying, been helping people out with certain things, charity work, nothing too exciting.
Should we... Oh! Eric doesn't know the rules of the game. Klaus, would you like to explain them?
At this point, he's regained a decent portion of his cognition, and he just kind of looks around at the rest of the table. And it's pretty simple. Instead of betting money, we are betting information. The winner gets to ask anybody one question. Though arguably, he kind of looks around. This is a pretty big, what do you call it, table? Perhaps we should up it to 2 instead.
I'm game. Oh, that... By the way, is Alexis sitting with us or no?
Nope.
Yeah,
She's elsewhere.
Yeah, she left. She passed by whoever was there, waved, and headed out.
Yeah, she had been spotted chatting with Eric. They were talking back and forth, and then she waved at him and left.
Oh, by the way, what happened? Where's Alexis and Jessica? Usually Alexis is with you when I point to Klaus.
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, she could have begun to start her own independent training. She's made good progress. In fact, I think she might actually be able to defend herself from now.
That independent training part sounds unlikely.
It's a theory. That's all it is. But, he kind of looks in between his fingertips before thinking a bit more. Right, and Jaskar, I mean, I don't think any of us actually know him way too well. I don't know where he went.
Oh, that reminds me. By the way. So, as a note, yesterday I noticed that nobles had started treating me worse than usual. I did a little digging around. Apparently, someone was caught trying to break into Lord Cooper's estate. They didn't get a good...
Not Lord Cooper.
It wasn't Cooper?
A noble.
A noble's estate. I didn't learn which noble it was.
Nope.
With the natural 20?
Nope. Because the people you were hearing did not know.
Okay. Apparently someone tried to break into a noble's estate, and apparently the only descripting factor that anyone saw of them was short.
Well, that's helpful.
Well, apparently... Well,
Sorry.
something funny?
Just the assumption that how many are there not many short people? Like, why would they just assume it's you? You don't seem very stealthy is all.
You don't seem to understand northern politics.
Yes.
I think I'm getting a hand on it.
Yes, but apparently people are thinking I am suspect, and from what I've heard, it's a good thing we took that job from Lionheart, or else people will be vying for my head. This is actually quite a serious matter.
Tenzing sighs. Just we have this city's great.
No, I need to ask you all a favor, and that is, if you're thinking about doing anything shifty, please don't, because I can't afford another hit to my reputation, because I'm actually in danger at this point. I need to talk to Lion.
The way it's beginning to sound like is that we need to spend less time here and more time other places.
Well, what I'm thinking is, obviously we still have to talk to Lionheart.
Do you
Maybe-
expect her to remove all of the heat on you by herself?
I don't expect her to, but I would like to try to negotiate her to at least try to help my reputation some. I don't know.
She can blame the crime on you and imprison you, but then you'd have to disappear from Findelfair.
No, but I'm saying she has enough influence around here to where she might be able to get a better name for me out there. Especially since I didn't do it. I wasn't involved in that at all.
Well,
You
what
could.
interest does she have in that? Oh, sorry.
No worries. Eric was just gonna say, we could just stay here and, I mean, not for this next thing, but next while, but, you know, get a reputation that's positive and doesn't include turning someone into a donkey.
I mean, to be fair, that was one incident.
Varric, that puts you in the limelight, regardless of whether or not you want to accept it or not.
I think the issue is Findelfair is an important city. It's also the first city when you cross the border from the south. So unless you all plan to spend the rest of your life in the south, as nice as it is, getting a better reputation up here, and especially starting in Findelfair, is probably a good idea.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at, is that I need help getting my reputation to a not dangerous level.
I don't think you're to the point where it would become dangerous.
From my understanding from the investigation I did, I'm getting on thin ice, and it's not even anything I did. My point being is, when we're considering our options, I would like to just point out that it may not be a bad idea to ask General Lionheart as part of her next job if she would be willing to, while we are out working for her, to at least mend the parts of my reputation that I do not deserve.
It might be suspicious if she's suddenly talking on your behalf. What exactly do you expect her to do?
She could
She
at
can't-
least say that her investigation does not point to any reason to believe that I was involved.
I mean, really, she just has to interrogate you, and you've been elsewhere, or else make sure that your alias is correct. Is that you weren't at that time and place when someone else was?
That would require... I think you guys are missing out on something. Ever since what had happened to Lord Cooper, everyone is afraid. They want to pin the blame on others so they can feel less afraid. The only way you can fix this is if you get all of these shitty nobles to actually understand the situation at hand and not run away from things in fear.
And that's why I'm going to ask Lionheart, because she has the best surrounding in the city of people we know of, was still willing to talk to us.
That is implying that her word will immediately get the heat off of you.
I'm not saying it's going to immediately, but it can't hurt. All I'm saying is, when we're talking to her, I'm wanting to bring that up in part of our negotiations.
Speaking of which, I have more information regarding our mission, but I don't think that has to be dealt with.
I mean, we're not leaving yet, right?
Leaving
So-
what?
We're not leaving yet, so we can still.
Yeah. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be discussed now. I mean, at least, I don't know, somebody can ask me, but any kind of points in the direction of Eric's bag, insinuating the cards, and it's just, don't we have a game to...
Yeah. Eric would take his cards out of his jacket, actually, and deal them out. The game is blackjack. That's what he's playing, and he would explain it to presumably Neri and I think Tenzin. Oh, he showed it to Tenzin the first night, so he would be showing it to Neri, explaining how to play it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he showed it, but I don't think they played it. Right.
I thought we were just gonna do the thing that Klaus and Alexis did.
Merrick immediately blushes when you say blackjack, by the way.
What do you call it? The game is blackjack, but the idea was the winner gets to ask a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
But-
I'm just saying,
but the-
while you're explaining the rules, Varric is blushing.
Yeah, Eric is like confused by that, but doesn't comment on it.
Same with Klaus.
No, let's begin.
All right. Is everyone playing?
Mhm.
Yep. All right, everyone roll a d20. Eric, you get it 2 times.
Oh, God,
Rude.
I'm never gonna win.
Ooh, look at that 2.
Hey, look at that sexy 3.
Hell yeah.
You whispered that to me, Zaku.
Oh, I did? My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Oh,
GM roll.
oh, oopsies.
What did they roll?
Yeah, 15.
So Tenzing wins this first round.
Heck.
Hell yeah.
Alright. Tenzing, now you get to ask one of us a question. Oh, 2 questions. Did we all agree?
Oh, I think if
Uh-oh.
it's 2 questions, it should be different people. Because then people start asking follow-up questions, and
He kind of looks towards Eric, and for a moment, a look of amusement kind of comes on his face as he kind of nods to those rules.
So, one question, and he just looks surprised that he even won this in the first place, because he probably didn't understand the rules completely, but is just kind of following along.
Eric would say 2 questions, but each question is to a different person.
Right. And again, the blank look of I'm dumb and I didn't think this far comes to his face.
I'm just petting Urkel, by the way, just in my lap.
Right. Well. Oh, actually, Eric.
Sure.
So, you have what colors are on him again? There's the dark red cloak, and then the rest is just black, right?
Yeah, dark red, kind of like jacket, and then black vest, black pants, black boots, white collared shirt.
So, he had put all of his floss away and stuff, but he takes out two wound up pieces of floss. There's one that is the dark red, and then there's one that's black. Well, I have 2 colors here, and I could just make a bracelet with these 2 colors, but I wanted to know, do you have a 3rd color that you prefer? Do you have a favorite one?
He kind of thinks for a bit, and just kind of shakes his head. No, there's those colors are more than enough.
Right.
You don't have to do that. It's fine.
I mean, I didn't have to do that for anyone, but I want to. He smiles at him with a shrug.
All right, Tenzing's second question to people.
Right. He taps his
Eric's
chin.
eyes are just darting back and forth.
Um, I don't know. Harry, because I haven't gotten to talk too much. So, do you speak any other languages?
Oh boy, let me check. I don't know. I don't know my languages, bitch. What is it? Oh yeah. He smiles because he's relieved you didn't ask anything like personal. So he smiles and says, "Oh, yeah. I mean, common, of course, and I know Celestial, and I learned Dwarvish. It's kind of basic, but I can speak it well enough. I used to. Yeah, I used to, treat a lot of miners and people, so dwarves, I picked it up a little bit.
And Tenzing, for a moment, blinks because why does oh, right, dwarves, minus. Does an awkward thumbs up, right? Got it. Yeah, minus makes sense. Actually, that's really neat. I mean, I've never really have to use these yet, but I know Sylvan and Elvish alongside Common. But honestly, at this point, it's really rusty. So.
Wait, what do you know Sylvan? No, wait, that's a question. I'm sorry, I have to wait till I win.
I mean, remind me again. What is Sylvan include again?
The Fae?
Yeah, the language
Which
of
is
the
almost
Fae.
strange.
Yeah, you shouldn't have Sylvan on your sheet.
Yeah, I don't know why it's there.
All because you were just picking language. God damn it, guys!
I was picking
Gotta let
languages.
Saku
I was
know
a
these
fighter.
things.
I picked that as a fighter, and then, oh wow, I didn't think about that, huh?
You can swap that out another time.
I'll just say that's a long story. Another time. I mean, this that, and then
How about-
my word.
How about Draconic? That's a pretty common exotic language.
For the North, though, it's important to know what the trade languages are.
How about Halfling? Halfling is pretty common.
I guess
You can worry about that at another time.
Okay.
he just brushes it off. Just I'll think about it. And I mean, you're very good more into the books than I ever have been, so maybe I could ask for your help on that. But yeah, I suppose that's my questions. So another round.
All right, roll again. Hold on. Let me.
Damn it!
Oh. All right,
Wait,
roll.
what-
No,
what
go
am
ahead,
I-
roll.
Okay, sorry.
God damn!
So, as you guys are playing this game, even though it's his first time playing, Tenzing has proven to be pretty good at it.
He's scratching the top of his head, just like I'm pretty sure I was gonna suck at this. What's going on?
Eric has his head in his hands.
I'm gonna put
You
you
okay
to
there?
shame.
Don't worry, Eric. There's a first time for everything.
And that includes your victory.
Even if it is over the span of a few days. Or a week.
Adjust. You okay, mate? Don't worry.
Klaus just has a relatively smug look on his face.
Hey, you're not winning either.
You don't understand the joke.
I do not.
Eric just looks at Tenzing and just is like, go, go.
Continue so I may prove myself.
I'll let you go in your shame, but let's see. How about you two then? God. I don't have any questions. I don't know. Okay, Varric. May I ask then, what sort of charity work have you been doing? I mean, I suppose I'm not surprised. You're a very kind-hearted person, so it makes sense. But what have you been up to?
Well, I've been getting blankets, food, medicine for those less fortunate than us, and handing it out to them. I've gone to taverns, parks, and other such communal areas, and just offered my services for free, just to spread some mare and cheer and all sorts of wonderful things around. You know, just things I'm happy to do regardless. And then I've also donated a couple of my paintings to local businesses, and even one to the local museum.
Hey, that's why the nobles don't like you.
Because I'm charitable? I've spent probably about 150 gold on this.
I don't know. Is there anything like the general? They seem pretty cold.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't know. By the way, Nikki, have I noticed, like, just the common folk treating me better at all, or no?
Yeah, a bit better here and there around the place.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just been, like I said, going around trying to bring light to into an otherwise dark world.
Well, they really changed you, huh?
Well, as a bard, it's part of my training to want to make people feel better, but I don't know.
So contributing to the group and to the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. Well, I don't know. You know what? That's another question. You know what, Klaus? You can ask me that question once to get a win. As
Alright.
Varric will smile.
You have one more question, Denzing.
Right. Alright, Klaus.
He looks back up at him.
Tapping his chin. He's trying to rack his brain for something interesting because he's been asking questions that he could have asked outside of the game as well. Actually, I didn't get to ask you this yet. Have you ever painted before? Because during the art lesson, I just noticed that you're really good at what you do. So, no.
He kind of sits there for a moment, thinks about it. Yes, I do have experience.
Does that mean that you I mean, I don't think yeah, you don't draw as much as Varric does, but I mean, it's really nice. Something new.
He's quite talented.
I think. Well, I mean, from what I saw, I can already tell. Yeah, I'm pretty talented.
I can't wait to get to the actual in-group art session, and then him just roll nothing but natural ones.
Right.
God.
Shit post!
Shit posts.
But he just kind of... He looks rather expressionless, but he just reaches up, scratches the back of his head just a little bit, and it's just like, was that all? Or...
Yeah,
One question.
yeah, no, it's funny. It's just I've been hankering to get everyone together at some point again to play a game like this, and yet I never really thought of questions. So I suppose.
You follow the
Let's move
process,
that.
but not what you get at the end.
Yeah, as is per usual of me. So
While they're talking, Klaus just looks over towards Eric and just like beckons his hand, like, just deal the damn cards.
Yeah, he deals.
This time as you guys roll, Klaus, I need you to roll twice.
Okay.
Hey!
Wow.
Damn it!
Yo. Oh boy.
All right, so Klaus, you have a 2.
Damn it!
So close.
Interesting.
Did your efforts get sabotaged?
Oh hell yeah, they did. I'm waiting for it to happen.
Eric, you won this time.
Do I notice?
I mean, while you're perceiving, your passive perception did not pick up on it. Anything.
Understood.
Oh, rough luck there, buddy. But hey, congratulations! Same name,
happens.
buddy.
It happens to everyone. Really wish this ace actually made something out of it though. That is one good card. He looks over towards Eric and squints, but doesn't say anything.
Okay, 2 questions. I didn't think of questions.
Oh,
See, it's
I've
not-
got a ton if you. Oh, I've got a ton if you want to pass one on to me.
No. I won this. This is mine.
It's okay, mate. It's you got 2 bad hands. It's all right.
Happens to the best of us.
Klaus.
What?
Why'd you tell Alexis that training with me was not a good idea?
Typically, when somebody is practicing juggling, they try not to set the balls on fire. They try not to ride something while doing so. And they try not to cartwheel while doing so. You should really only try to practice on your juggling before you try to do anything else alongside it. It dilutes focus.
Yes, focus. Oh. What you're all about.
Yes, indeed, focus is what.
Anyway. He just like tries to cut Klaus off.
Yeah.
Eric would turn to Neri and ask, I don't. Why do you pick? Like, why are you? I don't mean to sound this. I was just gonna the way I was gonna phrase it. I might have sounded offensive, but I guess I'm just curious.
Probably not going to offend me. Go ahead.
You seem pretty devout, and I was just curious where that comes from.
That's easy. You see, I have a friend. It's more than a friend. It's he raised me in a way. It's kind of a father figure. I really care about him, and he's a priest of Kellenborg, and he's really good at what he does. Very powerful, and we lived for a while in this small town, and we healed people. And he showed me what Kellenborg was capable of, what it means to be a part of something, and when it is your time to go and not to go, to have a purpose, you know. So I believe in him, therefore I believe in his God, and Kellenborg hasn't abandoned me yet. He's been there. I suppose. Yes, he is. I mean, he's a god. It's faith. That's how it works. So I believe in him. Is that enough?
More than. Anyway, Eric just starts going back to deal the cards again.
All right, everyone, make your roll.
Are you gonna do the dash? Yeah.
Thanks.
Come on, Lady Luck. Hey.
Oh,
Why?
Varric, you win this time.
Hey, luck is on my side today.
Good job, mate.
Eric, I haven't gotten a chance to really get to know you too much.
Sure.
Would you like to, while we're out on the road, to have a bit of an art lesson?
Do I get a choice?
You do? I'm not going to force you to do something you don't want to do.
I'm not really the painterly type.
Well, there's drawing, there's charcoal sketches, there's all sorts of things we can do. You know, I actually did metal sculpting back in my college days a little bit. Didn't take to it though. But clay sculpting, that's a much different story.
I think. Yeah, I can. I'll take you up on a sketching lesson.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you.
Next question.
Klaus.
He kind of was just staring absentmindedly at the table, kind of occasionally looking back, but eventually he kind of looks up over toward.
Now, first off, and this isn't my question to you. Are you
You're
okay?
going to ask me if I'm fine still. I am.
No, I was going to ask if you mind if I asked you something personal.
That's your question.
No, I said this isn't my question. I specifically
don't
stated,
know.
I specifically stated that this isn't my question.
Let me allow you to retake this, so this isn't a breach of the rules. Last time I checked, any question is on the table.
But are you okay if I asked you something personal? I don't care what the rules say.
Sure, but I can't guarantee that I will answer.
Fair enough. What's running through your head right now? You seem to be distracted.
He kind of looks up for a moment in thought, before his eyes kind of land back down at the table, then towards Varric, and then back towards it. Currently, what is on my mind was that I wanted to have a word with this one. He kind of nods his head forward. And I'm currently trying to figure out how to ask it without being invasive.
Alright. That reminds me, I do want to talk to you after we're done here. Just a quick little aside.
Alright.
All right. Danny, roll twice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sure. Do we have to roll now? Yep, sure.
Danny,
Sorry.
roll twice.
Why does he roll so badly? Jesus.
You got another one?
Fucking Christ. Roll what? Sorry, you cut off.
You get 2 rolls.
Ooh, nice.
One more
I don't
time.
know why, but thanks.
One more time.
Because someone at this table is being...
All right, Neri wins this time with a 12.
Haven't rolled yet, but Eric would fold. I think.
No, do it.
Yeah, Eric would fold.
Hi.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. like super confused. Like, oh boy, I didn't think I would get this far. Okay, question: has Neri seen Eric's tattoos or any one of them? At least the snake one.
What do you call it? Yeah, the snake is visible.
Okay.
to everyone.
Okay. Then he'll turn to Eric and say, what? I don't know if you have any more, but I've seen your tattoo. Does it have a meaning or something?
That's a... Okay. Yeah, it's, you weren't... Oh, you didn't see me. Oh. I have a bit of an issue with indulging in things. That's what this represents.
Okay. Okay.
I want to insight that.
Make your insight.
Thank you.
Eric, make your GM roll.
Wow.
Ooh.
Ew. Boy, I hope you put expertise into deception.
Klaus, you get the sense he's not lying.
What about on the other side?
For...
Not lying doesn't necessarily always mean telling the truth.
I mean, he was
Okay.
basically telling the truth.
Stop. I want definitives.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Uh-huh.
You get the sense that there was more to it, but that's the gist of it.
It was a lie of omission then. Understood.
No, there wasn't a lie of omission either, because he's telling there's more detail to it, but he's just giving the gist of it.
Okay. Slow nod then.
Okay. Oh, okay. He'll look to Klaus, kinda unsure if he should be asking Klaus any questions, but he takes a sip, makes that horrible face, and says, we haven't talked much, but maybe we'll... Okay. Where are you from? I don't know if you were talking about cities before, so...
Before I answer your question, I'm pretty sure you want to stop drinking that before something bad happens. You clearly don't like...
Why?
Because... I shouldn't even have to give you a reason. People typically don't do things that they don't like.
Looks very confused and looks to Beric and then to Eric, and which is a little confusing actually. And he says that... I mean,
Sorry.
how many of this do I need to, get drunk? It's just one. You guys drink a lot more than that.
Are
I
you
don't drink.
binge drinking?
Do you want to get drunk? Is there a reason? You don't seem like the drinking type, so it's just a bit odd.
I'm just trying it. I've never tried it before, so...
Take it from someone who's been to enough college parties to know, drinking to get drunk is a very bad idea. Eric looks down at his glass of water.
Eric finishes his mug of ale.
He's over to Eric. Like, do you want it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Takes it.
And turns back to Klaus.
Around we got.
Around there.
Where they
Oh my
gone?
god.
Have I ever heard of that place?
It is a it's in the Southern Empire. The area south of Tudul.
Oh. Does he disappear?
Diddy!
Hello, sorry.
Does he look or sound like someone from there?
I mean, the south is a pretty diverse place. Yeah.
Okay, so Klaus is from the south, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Inside check.
Go ahead.
Inside check.
What are,
Oh, man,
I mean,
my
I'm
inside-
from the south, and I spent a while around Tadul, so like, would I know anything specific? Oh shit!
Fuck yeah.
I don't think you that.
Good job!
I've never rolled that high in my life.
Rejoice.
Let me message you.
Would I know anything specific about like the place he said he's from to like question him on it?
I mean, again, like the South is a very, very diverse place, so there's people of all sorts around there.
Oh no, yeah, I just meant like
Geographically.
oh yeah, like oh that place has this thing that everyone who's from there calls it that, but someone who's not actually from there wouldn't know that.
It's like bubbler or water bottle. Or like water fountain. Is he's trying to get.
Who calls it a bubbler? What? I'm sorry.
It's in Wisconsin, man!
It's hard to say.
Okay.
All right, continue.
That's it for me. I mean, I got my answers.
Next round!
So
Sorry, I'm very excited to play this game. It's very fun.
It's nice getting to know everyone.
Klaus, roll twice.
Understood.
So, meanwhile, if they're not dealing cards, Tenzing is weaving. He has a little pegboard.
They're dealing right now.
Holy shit.
Suck a dick!
What was that?
I'm still offering.
Nah, man. Eric right now is fucking doesn't give a fuck.
Eric, you get it.
Okay.
Maybe you are
Eric,
good at this game.
I. Anyway,
Sorry, I'm yanking on your chain.
what do you call it? Tenzing.
Yeah.
Has anyone made one of those for you before? He gestures at the bracelets things.
Do you mean like ever in my life, or just people here, or just in general?
Either or, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, back at home, but I mean, it's not exactly a skill everyone knows or has time to do, I suppose. So, it's, as of late, no. And I don't mind. I like to make these and hand them out because I just have a hoard of them afterwards.
I mean, it is kind of nice to have a whole. Oh my god, that reminds me. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. And Barry like pounds his fist on the table and just says, "Binky, I met with Binky. I told her about her adventures, and she brought something very important to my attention."
Important, like good important?
Good important, probably bad for us because we probably missed out. Dragons tend to have hordes.
Yes. And
Yeah, that one was probably in the No Man's desert. Like,
Well, if it was operating around here, it was probably somewhere in that tunnel network you carved out. There's a chance if we went down there, we would have found riches beyond our wildest dreams.
Well, the general mentioned. I think they were searching. You had my question. Varric,
Ooh, question for me.
if you had that dragon sword, and let's say there was enough, even after it was split, that you could just there was just still a lot, right? What would you get yourself?
Well, I don't know if I'd get myself something first. I tend to be more of the gift giver of anything. I'd probably donate probably a fifth or a fourth of it to charity first. Then probably work on getting some charged Liberium for our friend. Then after that, maybe an upgrade to my accordion, just something to make it a bit more potent for my spellcasting.
Sounds pretty good.
Sorry, it's
Anyway.
not a very exciting answer.
No, I think it's a good answer. Eric would clear his throat and get back to dealing.
All right, let me make that space. There we go. Make your rolls.
Well, I hope I get one.
What?
I do not get one.
Getting lots of 11s. This is nice.
Oh my god. Eric's like probably really good at like when there's like 4 players, but he's only ever played with 3 or 5, and his counting is off.
Odd numbers.
Deary,
Oh, no.
you get to go.
Perish.
Oh, okay. He kind of reaches out to now Eric's drink and pulls his hand back, like, oh no, that's not mine anymore. And then turns to he smiles a little bit, like kind of when you're laughing at a joke to yourself, but you don't want to tell the joke. And he turns to Klaus again and says, are you an Alexis? And he put his hands together, like kissing. Like, are you guys
He tries to run.
dating? I love that.
Assuming Klaus has a confused expression on his face, Varric will just look to him
No.
and say, Eros.
Tenzin
just
coughs.
No, the entire time when he said you and Alexis, he just started like not no glaring, but like he just looks and just slowly closes his eyes and just shakes his.
Is he being truthful?
Insight.
Yeah, I guess I. No, Eric already has his mind.
Y'all some nosy ass motherfuckers.
We gossip buddies, man.
Yeah.
That's how we found Vicky in the first place.
Oh god. I gotta determine now with that roll.
Eric's just sipping his ale, but like also clearly interested.
Danny, I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna ask that question next.
None of you. I'll have to say, taking all these into account, none of you are sure.
Aw, fuck you, Klaus. Come on. Okay. He nods and say, "Okay, I understand." Then he turns to Beric, and he says, since we're already talking about, this topic, are you, Binky? I mean, you talk about her all the time, so are
Okay, I
you?
don't talk about her that much. I just
He gives you that look, like, boy.
You spring up.
It,
You just perk up when you talk about her, so of course they're gonna be curious.
I'm sorry if you don't want to answer. It's
no,
okay.
It's okay. Fuck, I don't know how to answer this because that might change by this point.
I mean, part of the rules are that
Complicated.
you can answer with as much detail as you want. So
Varric will just look at you and say, how do I say this? I like her a lot. I like who she is, and I have been trying to get to know her better.
Okay.
She's very nice.
Okay.
Intrusive questions, but not intrusive follow-up. An interesting combination. Just
Let's
looks over
just-
towards Neri
That's-
before looking back at the cards.
It's,
Yeah, he'll
it's
deal
the
again.
rule, right? Just
Make your rolls.
Oh.
Damn it! My
I
luck
had
in
my
this game-
victory. That's it.
My luck in this game is not going well for me.
And this is as much as I expected for me playing, so
You get
you
it,
will.
Klaus.
You had a pretty good hot streak going at the beginning there.
I think that was beginner's luck from there.
Alright. Neri.
fuck, dude. Come on.
He kind of looks. This little town that you grew up in, which empire?
North.
Sorry, what was the answer?
North. Why? Like as far north as it gets, near the mountains, actually.
Do I know of any small towns near the mountain?
Make a history check.
I'm so good at these guys.
Would I
Would
know
I?
about? Oh no!
Would
You're-
I?
Ooh.
You guys can make rolls too.
Not that it'll do well, but you know.
Better!
Oh.
-1 got
Ooh.
pissed.
Very
Man,
Klaus,
Lord.
you're not very familiar with towns or really just the geography or area up in the northern mountains really at all. Tenzing, you, however, as someone who was once in a northern village at one point as well, know that it wouldn't be surprising if there's some other towns or settlements or groups of people settled within the northern mountains.
Okay. You just mentioned like it's how far north? Like the really cold areas, or the I'm assuming you found a plateau somewhere around there, right?
It was pretty cold. It wasn't. It didn't snow all the time, just a little bit. It was at the base of the mountain, so it gets cold, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it really isn't terrible. I mean, this is where I'm from. I generally traveled around the tundra area. Some nice flowers over there. A bit different from over here, of course.
I think. Didn't you say you were from an island?
Yeah. You do you know about wait, I already I did not take. I have the notes somewhere, but I don't remember. There is a name officially for this island now. somewhere in both me and Nikki's notes. Somewhere, I think it started with a W. But if you've heard of that place, it's literally right above Vataldor, that island. It's different now.
Okay.
But I came from there before, you know.
Faust
Didn't
is
stay
quiet.
there all the time.
Faust is
Say that
quiet,
again?
Taps the table, just watching between the two of you. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead and say what you said again, Danny.
Oh, I said, but you didn't stay there long.
One question.
Question 2. To who?
No, he's saying that you only get one question per person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, at that, Tenzing looks, starts to look a little uncomfortable. And he get
Wait,
unconscious. Huh?
Faust never fucking finished.
Yeah, Eric would cut in and be like, technically, I think Klaus won.
Yeah,
Right.
he had been just
Sorry.
slowly tapping his finger, looking in between the two of you guys as he started your conversation.
He looks at him apologetically. Sorry.
He doesn't seem mad. He was just actually waiting. Eric.
Yellow?
Mm.
Alright.
That's the sound he makes. He's drinking.
Hmm. He looks directly at him, and for a moment, it looks like he is going to ask something of the nature of what they talked about before, but instead he closes his mouth again, thinks again, and technically speaking, this is directed to the lot of you, but I will ask Eric specifically. Why exactly does it seem like everyone is implying that Alexis and I are dating?
Oh, well. I take an ale, please. Actually, wine. Give me some wine.
You're very comfortable around each other. She consistently has your back. He's very touchy-feely with you.
Just seem very close.
You do spend a lot of time together.
You go off, come back, breathing heavy, sweaty.
I wasn't going to go there for that.
That's a bit much. I mean, technically, if they wanted to do that's not
Eric is
thing,
smirking
but-
at Klaus as he says that.
He just has like this somewhat confused look in his eye, almost a little bit bewildered as he just kind of looks at the lot of you, and it's just, do you not at all understand how physical training works, right?
Hey, I wasn't going there.
Well, the thing is, mate. Well, and he realizes again he's about to go on tangent.
Eric.
He looks at
Sorry.
Eric and closes his mouth and kind of gestures for him to continue.
Yeah, Eric leans forward towards him and asks, like, Jesus. He asks, you do understand what someone looks like after they've had sex, right?
Where's that wine? I need that
My
wine!
god.
The bartender goes to
Covering his
grab you a
face.
wine.
It's just an emergency! Hurry up! Sorry,
And
continue.
I am the type of person to do that in the middle of missions where life or death is on the way.
I pass no judgment. Please get me that wine. Tell me the wine's come.
You see the bartender working on it.
Eric shrugs and leans back, takes a sip of his drink, and then just says, I guess we'll find out when I win.
He clenches his jaw and he looks genuinely annoyed before just looking up.
Next round?
A bottle of wine is set in front of you, Varric.
Varric uncorks the bottle and just takes a big swig.
That'll be a gold.
I'm going for a bottle of wine.
Is it good
Yep.
wine?
Yeah, this better be some high class wine at this point.
That's nicer wine.
Fine.
Southern?
It looks northern.
Ah, sucks. Piece of shit. Yeah, Eric deals.
Thank you.
All right, make your rolls, everyone. Oh wait, yeah, everyone make your rolls. Varric, you roll twice.
Oh, god damn it!
Actually, to be fair to you there, Michael, a bottle of wine would be about a gold, since a pitcher is just 2 silver.
Alright.
Oh my
How do I actually
God.
get how do I get the right command for /R2D20 D2? Or D1?
D1.
All right, Varric, you would have had 17, but Neri beats you.
Damn it! I appreciate
Oh, yeah.
your efforts, my friend.
I have no idea what you're talking
Neri
about.
will. Neri will look at Varric and say, "Do you? I mean, I'm not. I don't. Do you want to ask them? It's okay.
I'm very upset. I am upset.
I mean, I know, but still, he offers it.
Oh, no, they're your questions. Unless if you don't have anything to ask, I can ask questions in your stead. But
Okay,
do you not have anything you want to ask?
maybe. Maybe you can ask one, and I'll ask the other.
Okay.
Uh,
Would you like to go first, or should I?
Oh, you go, please.
All right. Eric,
Sure.
I would like to know what motivates you to be an inventor.
Good way to make money and to have an excuse to help people.
Y'all already know what I'm about to do, so without further ado, let's just
I would also like the insight just because he did not seem very confident in saying that.
All right, Eric, you make your GM layer roll.
Hey. Boy, I hope you put that expertise into deception.
You believe him.
Alright. Well, that's my question. Thank you very much.
Oh, I ask another one. Oh, okay. Maybe the same question for Tenzing. What's I mean, I've never seen anyone like you before. So, what brings you here? Why are you adventuring with this group?
Oh, that's pretty common. You don't really aren't that many centaur over here. Looking for people have lost, and it's nice being around a group. Honestly, I mean, I've traveled around for he thinks about it. Counts. Well, yeah, I suppose it's already been. I've been saying close to a decade, but I've kind of forgotten. I guess 7 years, was it more or less? Yeah, I've been doing this stuff alone for a while, and it gets boring and quite honestly lonely after a while. So it's nice, and
If you're looking for people, maybe I could message them. I could send them a message. I could help you get in contact with them.
He blinks for a second. He's like, right, actually, both you and Beck can do that, right? I mean, I'm assuming...
I mean, I would need an adequate description. I'm not sure what sort of...
Oh yeah, of course.
He shakes the top of his head. I mean, yeah, we could try. I have a general description, but it's been so long, I don't know if they still are like the same. Does that count?
could try.
Yeah, I would. You could try, but it's gonna be. That's a tough sell.
Bites his lip and looks at his weaving. All right. Yeah. Give it a shot. Sure. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's my turn then.
So everyone did their questions?
Yes.
Next rolls.
Oops. Damn it! Every time I get a good roll, someone gets one higher than me. I get an 18, someone gets a 19. God damn it!
He scratches his head. I should have planned ahead for this. I thought I was going to lose for the rest of the rounds.
I mean, I've been playing second fiddle to you fairly often, so.
Right. Okay. How about, Could, I don't know. I'll be quite honest, I didn't think of any questions. Could I just pass it off, or like if anyone wants to ask me questions instead? Can that work?
I suppose. I don't see why not. Alright, who are you passing your questions off to?
He stares at Varric. Again, the look of indecisiveness, and I did not think this far.
Roll a fucking 1d5.
1d4.
24. Yeah, right.
1d4 is that?
that person.
Let's see. 1, 2d5.
10. We did assign numbers first. This was kind of.
So that'd be Neri. I'll do
Okay. Okay, Neri and do I do another one? I assume 1d5.
Bear just flutters his eyes.
And
one.
Eric.
Okay, I guess Neri and Eric.
Okay. You can go first, Eric. That's fine.
Sure. Let's see. What have you been doing this week since I haven't really been around?
Training and did a little bit of research. That's honestly it. So yeah, just training and seeing whoever was around, but honestly everybody was doing something. So yeah. And well, this, and he holds up the pegboard.
Yeah, Eric would look over at Neri and gesture for him to ask a question.
Neri will shrug and turn and like squint a little bit and say, "You don't have to answer. I mean, I understand it might be personal, but who are you looking for?"
Well, right now, I've recently got a lead. A childhood friend. His name is Gumbold, and he pauses for a moment because he says it in a different accent, and then is like trying to figure out how to say it in the one that he normally talks in. Gunbold, at least that's I suppose they pronounce it here. Yeah.
Gunbold?
It's like gunbold, but you pronounce it as gunbold. It's it means steel of sorts. Just very fitting of him.
Ooh, that's a very strong name.
It is. He's bigger than I am. First of all, super charismatic like you.
Varric is a look of shock when you say this.
Yeah, there are centaurs that are larger than I am. So
Varric thinking very heavily on this.
you could probably draw it, and you can imagine it then.
I have bigger friends than you?
There are bigger friends than me, but I suppose that's the end of the round for now.
Klaus gives a surprised look at Varric for a quick second before looking back towards Tenzing.
I give him a sort of shit-eating grin.
All right, make your rolls. Varric, you get to roll twice.
Okay. Ah! D. Hey! Thanks, friend! What?
You get to go. You win.
Oh, hey, I finally got one. Alright. So, Tenzing.
Oh, yeah?
Assuming we approach your goals at some point, have you made a decision on how you want your journey to end?
He blinks at that. I've imagined maybe I'd just maybe I could stay with the family, or I could maybe continue adventuring at some point. I mean, I honestly do like traveling. I've always wanted to, just in different circumstances.
More of a trading merchant rather than a wandering adventurer.
Maybe. At this point, I'm not really sure. And until it happens, I'm just sort of staying flexible, I suppose, and seeing where life takes me. But I imagined after all said and done, I'd at least rest for a while.
Rest those withering old man bones of yours.
Rest those withering old man bones, yes, because I'm getting old, at least
Are you?
in my ears.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're like 30, aren't you?
28.
That's
But
not even mature for my people.
well, centaurs don't live as far as even humans do. Technically speaking, I suppose I'm already middle-aged. Some people make it past 60.
Varric realizing he's gonna lose his friend in a very short amount of his lifespan.
He gives him a look that's like both knowing but assuring, accepting. Just like, don't worry about it.
Well, know that your children should always have a friend in me, and their children's children, and so on and so forth.
He gives him a little snort, just like assuming if I have children.
Oh, you'll get that one day.
Well, if anyone wouldn't mind a centaur as their father, I suppose. No,
Are you
adopting.
kidding? I'm sure lots of people have fantasies about that. Trust me, I've had enough people in college to know there are some weird fucking shit out there. His eyes
Yeah.
widen when he says that, as he's remembering stuff, just so many things. My college days really changed me.
Yeah, college days and traveling now. It's really changed.
Oh, that too. I would say more of this than that, but... Are you gonna see a shiver go down his back as he's remembering something?
Oh, you can share that later, if as long as it's not too, well, raunchy. But is that your question, then?
For you, yes.
Right.
Tell you what, I'll let you pick who I who I ask a question to next.
How about? And he looks at the table. Neri?
Neri? Alright. Neri!
Yes.
What is something that you would like to do on your journey that I can help you with?
Oh, he smiles like this huge, really like childish smile, and looks into his pocket and grabs his like a little notebook and starts going through the pages and ups. He says, "Well, there's a lot of things, honestly. I mean, we talked about this a little bit. I've never, I don't know, seen the ocean. I probably know how to swim. I don't remember. I haven't been to a festival or learned how to dance or how to draw. So
Oh, I can
Lenny.
definitely help you with those last two.
Klaus's eyebrows slowly furrow as he was looking off somewhere in the distance, as he slowly brings his attention back to the... Doesn't say anything, but...
Yeah, I mean, maybe I've never met someone famous or I don't know. I mean, I drank with you the other day, so and we played checkers. So there's a lot. I mean, anything really.
Well, I could definitely teach you how to draw, or to dance, or to paint, or to sing, or to play a musical instrument.
Sounds fun.
Well, you name it, and I'll set some time aside, and I can start teaching you how to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, I'm always happy to help my friends. And you and I are friends, after all.
Blushes, but doesn't say anything.
Well, I believe that's my go. Another round.
All right, make your rolls. Klaus, roll twice.
8.
Klaus, you have an 8.
Ooh, it's high.
I love how I love how
No, it's not.
I love
Oh,
how
it's not?
Brian can just affect the game. Just be like,
Oh,
no,
8, yeah.
he will lose.
He's been dealing this whole time. I don't know what you guys.
I also love that Tenzing has yet to roll twice because, like, he's just chilling.
Feeling like a villain planning to do some killing.
So Eric
Yeah.
wins this round.
Yeah. He would take a long drink from his mug. Before looking over at Klaus and saying, "So, do you actually know what someone looks like after they've had sex?"
Merrick was about to set his wine aside and brings it right back to himself and this.
Oh, this is a difficult one for me to answer. Shit. Because as Zaku and I have discussed, suddenly it's a lot more of a possibility.
Oh my god, you did sleep with her.
No? Maybe. 1 second. I need to ask Nikki something in DM.
Oh my god.
Did Alexis and Klaus have sex? Yes or no?
I
1
hate this
second.
game. This is the worst.
How come he can seduce an NPC in 2 weeks, but yet it takes me 3 months to even get to the point of asking him out on a date?
Because
Listen,
one travels with us.
I'm also pretty sure Binky is. I haven't met her. Seems like seems to not be perceiving reality the same way that everyone else is.
She's a little oblivious.
A little. There's a guy with her who's loved her for 5 years, and she
They don't
has
need to know about that!
Question.
Sympathetically just pats both Tim and Varric, just like, you get it. You tried. You're trying.
Varric will succeed. If nothing else, he will make it clear his feelings. Because he has the one thing that Tim doesn't have. A fucking set of balls.
Wow.
Are you sure? Do you know?
Did you try looking down?
Can I see if he has balls?
Make an insight check.
More like a pat down.
Hey, dude.
Blackjack turns into strip poker.
I think the bartender would be angry at that, given the fact that we're just in the middle of the bar.
Yeah, and
Hey,
it's
the bartender can join us.
it's also kind of like 9 in the morning, so chill.
Yeah, come on. We're morning drinking, all right?
Yeah.
Also, Zaku, that reminds me. House rule: we do not ever play strip poker or strip blackjack.
Aww.
I mean, do you really want to, out of curiosity?
I mean, it's funny to me because Tenzing without a shirt is technically considered naked, but it's like, but otherwise he doesn't wear pants. Like, the idea of nakedness doesn't exactly apply to him in this setting, so it wouldn't matter either way.
It's unfair. There's like an unequal amount of clothes on everyone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can just watch him suffer for gay panic, which happens anyways, so...
You two haven't heard about this, but basically Varric had this whole thing with Tenzing, where he tried to convince him to basically cover up part of his horse half, because Varric is basically ball level with Tenzing, and since and this was before Varric was assumed to just ride on Tenzing everywhere, so it was just like, as they're walking along, since Tenzing's faster than Varric is just constantly behind him, staring at his fucking balls, because he doesn't have anything to out. Like, it's just like, they're just right in front of him, so he has to keep looking to the side, and anytime he just wants to walk forward and, like, keep his neck straight, he's just staring at horse balls, and he's like, alright, this has gotta change.
Meanwhile, Tenzing's just like, fuck off, I'm not wearing pants, I'm not conforming to your standards.
To be fair, he did, though.
For a little while, for the party, he got something.
No, because I remember when you got heavier armor, you actually like got something to cover your horse half. So, so I win. Also, I don't know if you're doing anything with your money, Zaku, but you may want to invest in a better set of armor than Chain.
I mean, that already counts as heavy armor for me, right? Is there more than that I can do?
Yeah, no. There's 3 different armor types, which is light, medium, and heavy, but each of them have different types of armor associated with them. For you
can get splint and then plate mail, but plate mail's crazy expensive. Splint I think is like 200.
Yeah.
Would that affect my AC any differently?
Yeah,
because I was under.
Yeah, you would get a 17 for your AC instead of a 16.
What? I would have ordered that to begin with, man. I didn't know. Oh, well, now I do. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to upgrade the plate, though, that's 1500.
All right, continuing.
Okay. Cool.
He just looks you straight in the eye. There's clear annoyance in his eyes, but he just looks you straight in the eye. He's just, yup.
Insight.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Eric would like to insight that as well.
Ah, come on, look at that guy. He's not a virgin. We all know that.
Tenzing coughs.
Funnily enough, Varric did mention that. Just be like, Varric did mention it was like Klaus's abs at one point.
Y'all think he's telling the truth.
Oh boy.
Everyone's made some sort of reference to his body. God fucking.
All right, so y'all believe he's telling the truth?
I like how the biggest truth that Varric has ever taught Klaus is the fact that he's hot.
Eric would just laugh and lean back into his seat. Do I still have another question? Or that was my first, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so he would just look around the rest of the party, and then ask. Mary.
Hmm?
What do you call it? Oh, you already said that there wasn't a. You couldn't find a temple, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about.
It's okay. You can ask someone else.
I guess I don't know. I don't really spend much time in temples. What is that? What's that?
Do you want to come with me to one?
Sure. I mean, I don't really know what to expect.
Most of the time, nothing. Honestly, they just talk, and they listen, and sometimes they talk back when you need help, or when maybe they just guide you with actions or with options or with people. That's what faith is all about. Just trusting that it's not everything in your hands, and someone else is looking out for you.
I would agree with you on that.
I mean, Kalimborn is a busy god, I bet. He doesn't talk to me all the time. Altan, my friend, he talked to him a bit more. I mean, they communed, they chatted. So I know he's real, and most gods, or all gods, are.
I can tell you one is.
I know Kalimborn is. I could maybe try and talk to him. You could join me for prayer. I wake up pretty early, though.
I have my own method of prayer. Oh, no, wait, no, is that a me or Eric?
Rick.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, maybe some other time. Next round.
What? Okay, no, it's not my turn. Yep.
Make your rolls.
Hey!
All right, Varric.
Yeah! Who do I want to torture next? Looks over to Klaus. Looks him dead in the eye.
He was looking off to the side and he clenches his jaw once he feels his eyes on him, but when he looks over there, there's annoyance, but his eyes soften just a little.
You keep looking away. What are you looking for?
Don't waste your question on that. He sees the silence, or hears the silence more appropriately, and he's just... Nothing in particular.
You seem like you've had enough of this game.
He kind of snorts. A little bit, yeah.
Do you want to step out?
He shakes his head.
Spectate?
Just don't worry about me.
He shrugs. It's kind of in her nature.
Indeed. You're part of the Bronze Ring Company, after all. We look out for each other.
Well, don't.
Wait, you're the what?
Oh, yes, We have formed the Bronze Ring Company, an adventuring company.
We're all married.
God damn it, I really regret my life decisions at this point.
Tizzy holds up his hand, shows the. Well, he has 2 rings. One is his magic item, and the second one is a bronze ring with. Remind me again, it has his name on it and BRC. Is that on the inside or the outside?
His name is on the inside, and then there's a very finely, like, engraved BRC.
Okay. The wedding is in the summer. You're all invited.
I'm going to learn a very potent and powerful spell just to kill you.
I mean, you could try, but I know you wouldn't because you like me too much.
That rolls into question every day.
Don't talk to your husband like that. That's mean.
Yeah, honey, don't talk to your husband like that.
Barry's head slowly turns to Nary. I was like,
He smiles.
I thought you were better than them.
He smiles like cheeky grin.
You're going to fit in far too well here.
Yeah, you do fit in really well.
Thank you.
Oh, God. Alright. How about one for... You know what, Nary?
Okay. Sure.
There leans in, puts his... like his, chin on his, fist as he kind of gives a sort of, like, thinker pose.
Boy.
Have you ever kissed anyone? On the lips?
He blushes like bright red, and he says,
Bear just slides him over his wine.
He will take a sip. And this is actually a little better than ale. So he puts it down and... yeah, he's kind of uncomfortable. He like rubs his arm, and I haven't had the chance, so not really.
Add that to your bucket list because I'm going to make that happen.
Are you going to kiss Nary?
No, I'm
Mary
going
to
to take him to.
brothel.
Why not? That is what boys learn to become men.
Is it really?
That is not. Is that where you?
No, honestly, my father was not a big fan of brothels, but I had a couple of friends who were.
No, thank you. I'm not a big fan.
Very well.
I'll write it down. Maybe down the line. Who knows?
It is now my mission to find you a. What do you prefer, men or women?
Another question.
Damn it, you're right. Alright, it is now my mission to find you a significant other.
Matchmakers.
Thank you so much.
Varric, you still have your second question since you never asked Klaus's.
Right.
Oh wait, he took it back because Klaus had answered nothing in particular when he asked.
Oh, yeah, because you said, like, are you sure you want to waste your question on that? And he asked any. Okay, yeah, okay, so everyone, 1 second, let me make your rolls.
Varric is now, like, I think I now see that why you guys say Varric is mom, because now he's like, I must play matchmaker.
It's so cute. Like, I'm over here, like, I'm trying to keep in, like, the mood of, like, I'm, like, frowning purposefully, and I keep smiling. So fucking...
Klaus, you won!
Also, I'd like to note, again, while dealing, Tenzing, now getting the string and color combinations together, he started, like, occasionally, he'll, like, for example, he'll go over to Klaus and, like, be like, can you keep me on for a second? And he, like, takes a bit of the string and what was already the starting of a bracelet and puts it, instead of around his wrist, this time he puts it around his arm and then realizes, oh, that's a little string. May or may not be staring at that a little bit, but continues on to the next person. It's a big arm. And goes off to Deverick and like beckon for him for his wrist. And anybody, basically anybody who is spellcasting or something, that he knows doesn't use their hands that much, he'll ask for the wrist. And then if he thinks that you use, if he thinks that you used a weapon that isn't hand wise. So like he'll probably do the same for Eric, asking for his arm, and then Neri for his wrist.
Alrighty.
You guys let him do that?
Sure.
Yeah.
You can like
Rounds.
inch over.
All
I
right.
will say that seeing him work on that, Varric is gonna pull out his own tool set. One that you guys have not seen before.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And he'll just say, "Do you guys mind while while we're answering questions if I do some multitasking?"
He slowly shakes his head.
I mean, I'm already doing it, so.
Fair enough. And Nikki, do you want to know what I'm working on or no?
Message me. All right. Klaus?
He kind of just looks. No, actually, no. Yeah, really, his eyes haven't really moved. He just looks straight at and deadpan towards Eric. Eric,
Yes.
do you have a problem with me at all? Have I slighted you?
No. No.
God damn it! I have to do it again.
All right. GM layer, Eric.
Nice.
Eric.
Brian.
Yeah. I was just.
Oh, 1 second.
Yeah.
Man, y'all bitches always up to something.
All right. You get the sense that he's being truthful to you, but he's also hiding something.
Ooh, with 24, Jesus.
Damn.
He just visibly, audibly sighs and just clenches his jaw before looking over towards Neri. Yeah. Neri.
Come on, guys.
Have I slighted you in any way?
Not really. I don't want to impose on you or your group. I know people don't like physical contact, and I try to touch you to heal you, but I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I should have apologized earlier, actually.
He slowly shakes his head, kind of raising a hand. I wasn't sure what you were going to do, and I was still a bit on the high of battle. You could have been holding a knife to a bouquet of flowers, and I still would have slapped your hand away. It's nothing to apologize for.
I won't do it again.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that when I had first met you, I was paranoid.
You don't have to take that extra precaution before, but if you could warn me before you do, ever heal me directly, or whatever, that would be nice.
Smiles and nods. Okay, that sounds fair. It's a little bit more potent when I can touch people, so I will warn you beforehand. I promise.
He slowly nods. Even though he still has that annoyed look in his eye, it kind of lessens just a little bit. Right. And kind of looks over towards Eric and he doesn't know how long he's been drinking, that's for fucking sure. Sees the drink, nods, and just looks over towards Eric and it's just like, deal again.
Yeah, sure. He would
All
deal
right.
towards that. Yeah.
Make your rolls.
Devil.
You.
Yeah. Ah, shit. Oh, is it time for Eric's 2 nat 1?
No, it is not.
Hell yeah.
Not today.
I would have been really sad.
Strangely enough, everyone except Eric got a really bad hand.
Strangely.
Yeah, Eric would think about his cards for a bit and look at Klaus and say, this is, I guess, really a question for everybody, but I'll ask you. And he would lean forward and be kind of like he would whisper a bit. I mentioned earlier to you, Rubius. Is there anyone else that doesn't really like the party all that much that we should be wary of?
Anybody else who doesn't like the party?
Yeah, that we should be like wary of. Yeah.
Kind of looks up and thinks before looking over towards Tenzing and Varric, and it's just like, they've been around longer than me. If they would be the ones who would have the answer.
Besides just Lionheart, I don't think there's anyone really need to take specific note of. No, nobility in general. I don't think we've slighted anyone. If that's what you're asking.
Tenzing, meanwhile, he looks at Klaus, given the question that he was asked, and looks away. And then he thinks about it. Not really. We just sort of did our own thing, but I don't think we slighted anyone in particular. I mean, it really depends, for, like, at least for me, but I think the closer that I get to the capital, the more I personally have to be wary. So, otherwise, no. And Rubius doesn't really have a problem with us, at least for now. I hope we don't ever. But he was just someone we were keeping an eye out doing our, mission.
He's not a direct opponent. He was an obstacle.
Obstacle. And as far as we know, he's not really aware of us. Cares. We haven't done anything yet, so.
I was just curious. It doesn't seem like I don't know if from what I've heard, he's hot-tempered and insecure. I'm not sure he'll feel great about the whole dating thing.
Insecure?
Oh, Rubius?
Yeah.
A northern noble. Insecure and hot-tempered. I've never heard of that before.
For a southerner, you know a lot about the north.
Last time I checked, you already asked me a question. Move
That wasn't a
along.
question.
That was an observation.
An assumption. Let's not talk.
I mean, if anything, we're surrounded by nobles in this area as well, that you can get the general gist.
You kinda can.
To be fair, we met a really nice noble.
Oh, yeah, the nice ones and not great ones. So, I mean, it's been a trend.
You just kind of have to look around to get the idea of what people are like around here. It's nothing special.
Right. Anyway. Varric.
Yes, as Varric looks up, you can see him messing with small tools, things like tiny little gears and little springs and sort of like small bits of metal and whatnot. Yeah.
No. What are you making?
Say again?
What are you making?
Oh, nothing quite impressive. I'm trying to learn how to work with small mechanical little things. So I'm trying to make this. Vicky, how much progress have I made on this?
The head.
It doesn't look like much now, but I'm trying to make a sort of like a little mechanical butterfly.
That's cool.
Thank you. I figured I'd try to extend my crafts beyond just that of painting and whatnot.
Oh, damn it. Okay. I just thought of a better question. Okay, I'll ask
You know
you
what?
next time.
I'll let you ask.
No,
Well-
there's rules.
Alright, fair enough. It looks like Klaus is gonna get to ask me something first.
We will see.
God, I feel so bad for you because something I used to have in my home game was called the Casabloom clause. Because I had a player who had the worst luck, and so I told him basically, I'm like, if you're rolling with something with advantage, if you roll the same number twice, I'll count it as a crit. Motherfucker rolled more double ones and natural 20s, and I'm just like, I had to stop it. I was just like, dude, you're breaking math and statistics. My brain can't comprehend what's happening. Casabloom clause is dead.
Klaus, you win.
I'm thinking. Yeah, okay. Klaus will just look straight towards Eric again, and without saying his name this time, he's just very quickly just says, "Is there any particular reason why you seem to be showing such an interest towards me?"
Towards what?
Towards me.
No, I just having some fun, I guess. Didn't really expect you to take it this way.
The irritation in his eyes very quickly. He was almost leaning a little bit forward when asking that question, but he kind of slowly leans back a little bit, and his eyes go from more or less boring holes into yours versus kind of looking back down in kind of contemplation. And then down again to his other side. Before he slowly nods and then just sighs. And then looks over towards Nair. Neri. He kind of looks a little bit distracted by the previous interaction, but he kind of looks down again before looking back up. You're telling me that in a continent that is sea-locked, you have never seen the ocean?
I don't see how that's so weird. I used to live in the mountains, and then I made my way down here. So I haven't had the chance. Is it weird?
I don't think it is.
Straight from the mountains into the city? You didn't take any detours?
Not really.
That's not a question, that's asking for clarification.
Oh, I didn't. I just took the main road and walked all the way here. Took a cart at some point, but that was it.
He slowly nods before he lays his deck out flat and begins to... I'm going to head back to my room.
Oh, you don't want to play anymore?
He just kind of walks off.
Tenzing will get up and follow him for a second. And puts a hand on his shoulder to stop him.
He will stop.
Won't go for a walk.
He looks back. He was at first just looking straight forward away from you, but he looks over towards towards Tenzing, and for a moment there's that similar pain in his eyes that you've seen back from Destalia, and he just shakes his head and doesn't shove your hand off, but he takes it off more gently before walking.
He gives a patient look, and he recognizes the expression. And his hand lets go as he's being prompted. Do you want to talk later then?
He was at the door, and he opened it, and he kind of stops. And he just sort of shrugs as he then closes it.
Stands there for a bit, and he nods to himself. And comes back.
What'd you say, Michael?
We may have taken things a little far with him.
He walks back. It's I think it's something else.
Do you think
Maybe.
him and Alexis got into a fight?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, there's always a possibility, but I think he's figuring things out.
Yes. Here, let me ask you something. Now ascending to Alexis.
All right.
And I would just say, good morning. Did you and Klaus get into a fight recently? He seems a little down and more than usual. Everything okay?
You hear an "ow, shit, fuck," and then silence for a second. You get the sense you surprised her. There's a long moment of silence. Soon, her voice enters your head. It's just like, a fight? No. Why? Why do you ask?
I'm not wasting my third level spell on this.
Do it anyway.
What if something important happens on day 8 that I need it for?
Do it anyway.
Your day off.
It's up
But
to
I might-
you. It's your spell in the end, so.
Yeah.
But I might see Binky later. That third level spell slot might be useful.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Just because I have a life outside of you guys doesn't mean you have to get jealous. I will choose to save it. And just wait to see if she comes into the tavern. As apparently I'm working on this for a little while anyway.
Well, I would say kind of funny that you say that since... Hold on, I gotta do some distance calculation in my head.
Bitch fucking sprints all the way.
I mean, she was only gonna do a lap, so...
Mm.
You know what? Hold on, let me do a roll.
Better be athletics. I like to imagine she's just doing one of those military like chants. She's like, I don't know what I've been told,
I don't know what I've been told.
but Klaus is a huge asshole.
Klaus is not an asshole.
Alright, Alright, so you guys doing anything else as you guys
And that
gather
was
up
my
together?
last good joke of the year.
I have fucking neighbors and a sleeping mother. How dare you?
Are you guys gonna do anything else as you guys gather up together again? Now, Neri excuses himself to go take care of some stuff and leaves the inn.
I mean, I'm working on my thing, so I'm still good to play cards, but
Okay, and I'll, you know what, just for the fact that 2 left, I will say, after about 10 minutes or so, you do eventually hear the
so down, world's not ending.
and then
Oh, there she is.
running into the inn, she just immediately rests her hands on her knees, just breathing really heavily, and just looks at you, Vergus, just like, What? What were you talking about?
He's gonna sneak off at this.
Eric's gonna sneak off, you said?
Yeah, he's gonna go to his room with his cards.
Stealth check.
I mean, it's one big room without
Well-
like.
What conversation would have happened in those 10 minutes is what I'm confused about.
Yeah.
Oh, in that 10 minutes, Varric would look at Eric and is like, don't necessarily mind him. I think he has his own things that he's working through.
Yeah, I am.
It's nothing against you. He's a bit distant from most people he meets.
You seem to be sort of off yourself. Did you want to talk about that?
I'm fine. More than.
Insight.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
Varric's not even gonna bother inciting. He just says, Even if you're fine, it's still okay to come to people and talk about things. Like, we're a fairly open group. It's not like we're going to bite your head off or anything.
Eric, make the roll on GM where.
Tenzing, he's not exactly looking for like a lie, just more so like what's going on his face. But feel free to make whatever rolls.
Okay. If it's more about what's on his face,
What's he going through? Yeah.
feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. But Tenzing kind of notices a look of nervousness and desire to leave.
Yeah, I think so. I think Tenzing would actually probably notice that. Also, despite his like the kind of deflection of the question and kind of like muttering like, "Oh, I'm more than fine." It seems like he actually is.
Okay. Tenzing still has a clear look of concern, given that Klaus had already turned down talking and was already looking pretty bad. And then Eric also kind of walking off. So, but he nods and just mentions just like, well,
Additional thing, Tenzing.
Hmm?
In addition to everything else, you would also notice that there seems to be, just based on body language, Eric seems to be feeling kind of happy.
Okay. Either way, it's still the same. He'll note these things, but keep them mentally. And says that and I know you don't know me very well, and we've only been traveling around for a couple of days. But if you do want to talk, well, I'm open.
As am I. But a bard's main job is to collect stories, after all.
I don't really have any stories to tell, but I appreciate that.
Then I shall tell the ones we make together.
Sure, that sounds doable.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. I'll make sure to paint you in the best light possible.
I suppose that's the moment when the door is open.
Yeah.
Immediately looks towards you, Varric, and it's just like, what was that message about? Why did you ask that?
Well, Eric, did Eric leave already, or?
Eric would be walking towards his room.
We were just playing a game where we more or less play cards and then ask each other questions, and I think some of our questions may have gotten to Klaus a little bit. Listen, I'm gonna ask you first off. He seems like he just wants to be left alone for the moment. Can you just promise me you're not gonna bother him?
Well, first off, okay, card game, but why did you immediately assume that there was an argument if it was due to the card game?
Because we asked some questions about your and his relationship. And he seemed to lock up.
A wince kind of comes to her expression, and she's kind of... I'm going to give him a space, but I do want to just do a quick check-in, if that's
No,
alright.
please, just let him be for now.
I've got to check on this sooner rather than later due to reasons, but I will give him a space. And she walks off.
Before Alexis walks off, Tenzing pipes up. Well, I don't know much of whatever it is between you two, if there's anything. But I think it's also his trust thing, and his acclimating to new people. You know what I'm talking about, among other things.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks, Tenzin.
Yeah.
And she kind of glances off in the direction that Eric left, and then back at you guys is just like, also, during your card game, I'm assuming it's the one with the questions, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you perhaps ask Eric about the whole... And she, points to her neck and then points where Eric left.
No, why?
I think one of us did, but it was more just I'm trying to remember. It was very surface level of where did he get them from? I think Neri asked that.
His tattoos.
Not the tattoos. I'm talking about the bandages.
No, I don't. None of us really asked him about that.
No.
Alright.
But I would advise to just leave Class B for the moment.
I'm going to give him his space, but I do need to just do a quick check or something. Anyway, I'll be right back. She walks away.
And Tenzing looks at Varric, just
Varric just shakes his head as he looks down.
No, I get what you mean. She's going to give him the space, but it looks like because this may be something between them, it's something that they have to clear out themselves.
He just looked very tired, so I didn't want her to poke a sleeping bear.
The bear wouldn't draw out any clothes.
Not what I was going for, but
No, but you know what I mean.
I'm just saying.
I mean, depending on what happens the night, at least I want to check on him later as well.
I mean, so do I, but I want to at least give him some time to breathe for a minute.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But if anything, we're waiting. If you want to stay here, did you have any other plans?
Well, I was gonna go. Well, I'm just gonna finish this up real quick. How far am I on this, by the way?
Not very far in.
Okay, you said this was gonna take a few hours. How many is a few hours?
A few hours.
That's not specific. Like 3? Are we talking?
It's been less than half an hour since we started.
So a 5 hours we talking, or
Yeah, how?
half a day hours?
Are we talking 3 hours? You said a few, and
Yeah, 3.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna finish this up because I feel like I'm on a roll with this and be ashamed to not finish. But then I was going to go see Binky and then maybe do some charity work, that sort of thing.
Yeah, all right.
Why? Do you want to go do something? It sounds like.
To be honest, I didn't have anything planned. I'd just be working on these, and I want to give him his space, so I suppose even with Eric as well, if I stay here, I'm just going to keep worrying and then want to drop in and then probably impose again, and that, and I haven't really been hanging out with you much,
Yeah, Chaos Crew's kind of fallen to the wayside, hasn't it?
Understandably so, but I mean, I'm not going to impose on your plans either. Well, how about this?
Can I be upfront with you?
Yeah.
Obviously a lot's happened on our journey, and I think a lot of us has changed as a result.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak for everyone, but I feel, out of anyone here, I feel as I've changed probably a good deal.
Changed quite a lot, yes. for the good, I think.
Thank you. I've been still feeling a bit responsible for what happened to Glucksberg. I know it wasn't really our fault per se. We didn't really have the necessary information to make an informed decision there in terms of with the fact that monsters were apparently chasing us, but I still feel guilty about it. My conscience has not been made to rest. I suppose it's part of the reason why I've been pursuing charity work as much as I have. Bear
Trying
can
to
summon his
make up.
tools for a second. Do you think there's any forgiveness for us for that? That if we were to go and pray and do good work and to help those we meet and make the world a brighter place, something out there would forgive us? Whether it be the souls of those who have been lost or whatnot? Or the people who yet live?
He thinks about it for a moment. I think that unless it's true we weren't the most strategic. It's not exactly our forte. And there is truth to be said that we were doing what we thought was right.
Well,
And there's always going to be consequences to what we do no matter what. And I know it's always more ideal if we got the better of the options that we did. But at the moment, well, I think that it's not good to dwell. And this is coming from someone who also occasionally still thinks that way sometimes. Still working on it. Thinks we could have done better. What better action we could have done to help more. But in the end, you did what you did. We did what we could. We thought what we did was right. And from here, we just hope that we can do better than before when we learned. I don't think it's a matter of forgiveness or asking for apologies. Or asking for forgiveness. Looking at apologies. I think it's just what you do now is important. And who you are in the past isn't who you are now.
Well, I've tried to learn from our mistakes, and one of the things I've been trying to do is be as informed as possible. I've been asking more questions, trying to get more information out of people just as a general habit now, but it seems in my efforts to doing so, it bothers people. The general, Alexis, I'm just trying to make sure the same mistake doesn't happen again. I don't know. It's one of those things where, damned if you do, damned if you don't, but I don't know which is worse.
I think what you're doing is right. Asking questions, getting more information. Timing, of course, and situation it varies, and it definitely depends on the person as well. But I think you're going in the right direction. It's the right path, I think. And you're not going to win all of them, and it doesn't feel great when it doesn't go the way you'd hoped, especially when it's something so important. But I don't think you should give up on it.
Okay. And it's just Alexis said to me, and it kind of bothered me.
What did she say?
She said I don't need to know. I don't always need to know everything, but it's because of my lack of knowledge that people got hurt. I don't know if I can forgive myself for that level of arrogance again. I don't know if I could risk it again.
Well, can you know everything?
No, but knowledge is power, and the more power we have, the more we can protect and help people.
I think that she would agree that having more knowledge to be prepared isn't a bad thing. I think what she was going towards more is it's an unhealthy mindset to have. And if I have any input on it, I think that's giving yourself a very high standard to live by. Because you know it. You really can't know everything. It's not possible. So many things that we don't know. But you pick and choose your knowledge. And sometimes you just... Some may have the information and some won't. And that same applies to you. Sometimes you'll have the information and it'll work out great. And unfortunately, sometimes you don't. And just like the cards, a lot of it's by chance, a lot of it by luck. And sometimes someone else deals the cards and may or may not work in your favor. It's hard to accept the things that do occur and things that don't, and things that you wished happened. But at least for me, I've come to terms with the fact that you just sort of have to roll with what you have.
I suppose that's correct, but there's still this feeling of responsibility that I can't shake, not anymore. And Merrick will look up at you for a second and just... He smiles, but in a very unconvincing way, and just says, I am a weak and small man, but yet I feel like I carry the weight of the world on my back.
He sighs at his expression, and he goes to sit down so he's a little more eye level with him. You know, it's like you said before, Merrick. You may be small, but your words are big. And you have more power than you think. You're not weak. Especially in our line of work. You could have left at any time. And even that wouldn't be weak. It's just that would have been your decision. If it was too much for you to do adventuring and all these traumatizing things that have occurred to us. And he kind of half laughs at that, just really traumatizing. But, you know, out of everything, despite it all, you still got up. You decided to do charity work. You still try your best to help people. You still put your heart out there. And you still try to spread, as you said, the goodness in the world. And that takes a lot of strength. It also takes a lot of strength to put your emotions out there in the first place. You know, like, he looks over towards where Alexis is walking. For example, he has a hard time expressing himself, right? But it comes a little bit easier for you. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and it's like I've always said before, give yourself some credit.
Right, it's just...
And, well, one other thing. The world's problems, as well as the rest of us, it's not yours to bear alone. And that seems to be a recurring theme as he again looks not only to the door, but also Alexis, and then looking off to where Eric had walked off.
Well, there's a thing with that, so we might have to short pause with your conversation to swap to the other conversation.
Okay.
Stuff might happen on the side.
I'm gonna switch to mobile just so I can listen while making some food, because I have not eaten yet.
Oh no, go eat, go eat.
I literally just came here.
All right, so Klaus, you hear two small knocks on your door, followed by a, "Hey, Klaus, it's me, Alexis."
No response at first.
Woman's pause, and then her kind of wringing her hands a bit nervously, biting her lip.
Sorry to bother you if you want to be alone for a bit. I was out jogging and Verk suddenly, sent me a message saying that, asking if we walked into an argument, and of course that led me to worry a bit, since we sort of had a bit of a talk about some stuff, and I wanted to make sure that things really are alright with that.
Are you guys
The
saying
door
anything? Sorry.
begins to slowly creak open. As he opened it, and he just immediately went back to sitting over at his desk, focusing on whatever is on there.
He slowly steps in, carefully closing the door behind, kind of slowly walks over, kind of give him that chance to shoo her away if he wants to. She kind of goes to peek.
You would see on the new notebook what seems to be just a vine spiral pattern that just kind of sprawls across the bottom half of the page. As he just doesn't really say anything, just kind of waiting for her to say whatever.
Kind of looks at that and glances at him.
So I ran back here as quick as I could, and it seems that the others might are under the impression that perhaps we had an argument, and they wanted to be safe since, you know, I mean, things were cleared, but I wanted to make sure.
We don't.
We don't what?
Have a problem. We don't have a problem.
Alright.
She's gonna try to insight what's kind of how he's kind of feeling at the moment.
All right.
Nat 20.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of looked at it. I was just like, I don't even know what to roll. So I would say very much the anger does not at all, or irritation, not at all, seem to be pointed towards her. 100%.
Anything else with the Nat 20?
Because of what he said, there would be no nature of it other than clearly he's angry at somebody recent within the existing party.
Thinking stuff over.
No, actually, if anything, with how I'd say occasionally his eyes would flicker downwards, you could almost probably discern that he kind of is probably a bit angry at himself.
I was actually just about to have her ask that. She looks down at the page and then kind of back over to where she assumes the card games had happened, and then back.
Do you think you accidentally upset someone?
No, I don't think that. His legs bouncing, his eyes are trained heavily on the spirals. He stopped drawing, that being
Is it just like kind of scribble spirals?
Essentially.
Kind of looks at the drawing again. Multiple thoughts all over each other.
One persistent one.
Hmm.
Kind of nods her head at that.
Feel free not to answer, but what is it?
I tried asking Eric about what we had talked about. And he kind of just blew me off. Said it was for the game. I didn't want to ask him in the fucking game. It's a personal thing. And then after being assaulted by one too many questions and doing my absolute best to practice this patience that I've been trying to build with the rest of the party, I decided instead of blowing holes through surfaces, perhaps I should just retire to my room.
She again glances towards the door and then back at him.
Well, I don't know if it helps, but even despite the fact that I've been spending almost daily with him with the learning how to count cards thing, when I brought it up, he wasn't really willing to speak much on it. It seems to be something that is very personal to him, I suppose.
I was trying not to be invasive. I tried to do what you or Tinzing or Varric does and just blew up in my face. His right uncontested arm just kind of begins to move and emote as he talks. Very clearly, just completely filled with irritation. I tried to ask, not push, and everything went wrong. Everything went wrong.
She nods her head again.
Well, I suppose from your perspective, based off of seeing myself and Tenzing talking to people, it seems to, from your point of view, work rather frequently, but it doesn't always work. There's times we're going to do or say something.
Kind of gives him a look as if, like, using herself as an example for the night, what happened the night previous, where we might have had good intentions, but it didn't go through as we had initially thought. And if that's the case, then you sort of allow yourself the moment to think over what happened, what was said, what was done, and try again at another point.
Where the fuck do you get this? And he, like, slowly turns towards Alexis, and very clearly he's a little bit distraught because of the situation. More angry than anything, but just kind of, I guess the word disappointed is in my, is on the tip of my tongue. But, he just kind of says, just, where the fuck do you get the patience for this to begin?
Well, she kind of rubs the back of her neck with a bit of amused half shrug.
I wouldn't really call it patience, more stubbornness on my end.
Stubbornness.
If something doesn't turn out the way that I like, or I do or say something that upsets someone, my stubbornness makes it so that I can't really drop it until things are better, in a sense, I suppose. And for Tenzing, for his case, that might just be patience, yes, and the fact that he's a nice person. So it's not easy, no. Kind of gives a little quirk of her lip. But if you find that when you try and don't succeed, that you need to step away for a moment to sort of get out that frustration, then try again. That's okay too. We all have our own ways of doing it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Alright? I don't. I never really ever ask anybody else about others, themselves. People are more than entitled to their own secrets, but I thought that maybe something would be different. Clearly, I was fucking wrong. Should I even bother the next time? Should I? Am I just going to get shot down again?
Kind of crosses her arms and thinks about it for a moment.
Where is the point in which apathy actually becomes a smart choice? Because that was always my choice before. But now I'm getting riled up because for once I actually wanted to do something.
Well, the answer for that's rather hard in the case of that. Yes, sometimes it is the healthier choice to take a step back, but in your case, and she glances down at the pages of just angry scribbles and then back at him, that could end up turning to more frustration for not wanting to try again. So, let me ask you this. If there were, you knew for sure that there was a chance you could get him to open up a bit and speak to you, would you want to try again, even if you knew that you might get shot down a couple of times?
He just repeatedly keeps clenching his jaw as he kind of silently thinks to himself. Well, what, wouldn't it be forced at that point? The way I grew up is that when a door opens itself, you better fucking take it. Otherwise it will close and not open again. Seize opportunities when they're given.
That's true, but also there are times that while the door might be shut, whoever's on the other side shutting it might, and she looks towards the door that he at first didn't let her into, but eventually did, and then back. Eventually let you in.
He just puts his elbow on the armrest and just kind of reaches up to just massage his temples.
I don't know how any of you do it. I'm barely above my previous. I couldn't look at anybody because I was afraid that if I did, I was going to. And he just punches into the air slowly.
Nods her head. You know, I thought the same thing when it comes to your way of fighting. How do you manage to do that? How could anyone manage to do that? But it's something that you learned and something that became your strength. Everyone has their own things they're good at and things that they're not good at and things that they could get better at. This thing, well, the fact that you're wanting to try means it's something that you could get better at.
Previous way served me just fine.
Did it?
I don't fucking know.
Walking over, she, with him sitting, just so that she's not like looking down at him, instead kind of crouches. You know, the fact that you even wanted to do this, Klaus, I'm honestly rather impressed. I'm a bit proud too. Like, yes, of course, you are frustrated that it didn't go as you hoped, but the fact that you wanted to and the fact that you tried to, that's a large step all in of itself.
I just wanted to teach him something, okay? You know my relationship with addiction. I thought that maybe... He kind of gestures out into the air and then drops his hand.
She nods her head. Klaus, let me ask you this. If you remember back when you first met us and how we asked you questions and we wanted to get to know more about you and all that, the fact that you didn't feel comfortable opening up about it. Why was that?
Why I didn't feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Because I was afraid that some of you could potentially use this information to kill.
She nods her head. And in Eric's case, we don't know the specifics, but perhaps there's something that he's afraid of. And she kind of tells her head a bit to kind of try to catch his eye. In the end, it all comes down to trust, right?
So you're saying that I have to try to get him to trust me in order for him to want to say anything?
Still a smile on her face, kind of winces a bit. Unfortunately, it's probably the case, yes.
You do realize how much easier it would be if I just didn't give a shit.
Well, easier on the situation and everything else, or easier on yourself?
Don't make me answer that.
Gives a little shrug. Even though we might say it's the easier thing, sometimes it's not really. Sometimes it's even the shittier thing for ourselves and how it makes us feel and think.
Right. Yeah. Right, okay, fine. I'll try again some other time.
Brighter smile comes to her face. I know we've got this.
He looks down and he looks like he was gonna say something, but You can tell with how unconvinced his face looked. He wasn't going. Never mind, actually. A new thought just kind of came into my head. He kind of looked down at the floor. And are there any windows inside of the
In the room?
in the room?
One window.
I would say that he would look out, and if visible, he would look at the sky.
It is visible.
And he looks back over towards her. It's very easy to say that he's not entirely convinced, but he's clearly making a conscious effort. I'll try my best.
You've got this. Won't be easy, of course, but you've got this.
If you're not preoccupied, could I ask you for one more favor?
Of course. I'm all done with my morning jog. What's up? Looks at him curiously.
What?
What was that, Judah?
Oh, could you, take my flask and fill it with water? I really don't want to look at the others' faces right.
She nods her head in understanding. Alright. Stands up and holds out her hand. Give it here.
He just quickly tosses it to her.
I was gonna make her roll, but you know what? I'll say it's simple enough to catch.
Mm-hmm. Wink.
She gives Klaus a grin. Her arm moves for a second, then she pauses and then kind of tilts her head at him. Thinking back on the earlier conversation from the night before, and kind of gives him a small smile.
Might I go ahead?
What?
May I pat your head?
He kind of listens to the request, and he slowly shakes his head, but yeah, no, he kind of just like drops his hands and kind of lets them dangle in between his legs, elbows resting on his thigh. Don't worry about me. Just a little bit of hydration and maybe some meditation. I'm about to in a bit.
And you said he shook his head, no?
Oh yeah.
What was that?
He shook his head. No. Yeah.
Alright. She lets her hand fall back down, nods her head.
Of course.
Alright, let me get your water. And she'll walk on out, and I would say this is the side thing. As Alexis opens your door and takes like one step out. For a moment, she kind of turns and looks like she's about to shut your door, but you see her pause and kind of squint off to the side. She's, where the hell is he going?
Eric is just trying to very inconspicuously get to the door.
Just watches him.
Just watching him with this like most confused squint. She kind of like not looking away, like speaks into the room to you. Klaus is just like, I think he's trying to sneak out.
Wait, while he's just sitting there?
Yeah.
The door's not closed?
Yeah, the door's open. She says this.
Sneak out, like sneak out of the inn.
Yeah.
Why does that concern us?
It's sort of weird. Why is he trying not to get caught?
Well, if you want to ask him, I doubt he'll answer. So either you inquire, follow him, or just leave him be.
Has a contemplative look on her face. Am I that curious?
I'll check to see if the others are. Be right back.
And
He just shakes his head.
walks back towards Varric and Tenzing. She quickly stops by the bar, asking the bartender to fill a flask with water, and as she kind of screws the cap on once it's filled, she turns to you guys. It's just like,
Did you two notice that Eric was sneaking out?
As Varric just finishes saying his last bit of the line he got to before we cut to the other thing, it's like, huh? Well, Alexis. What about Eric? We were kind of...
Would we have noticed?
nope. Not with his stealth.
Not with our, at least my shitty perception, so... I mean, we're talking, so not really?
Alexis points over to the door, and you see Eric kind of trying to creep out.
Why is he...
I mean, he's not trying to like creep out. He's just trying to be like inconspicuous. Like
Conspicuous.
I mean...
Let him be. Let him be. It's like he's... I don't think he's going to be able to hurt anyone.
Did he look like he was sneaking? He just looks like he's wanting to walk out.
I mean, we're not babysitters, so you go and ask her.
Do you think something's wrong? Or...
No, it's a little weird. He could have just straight on walked out. Never mind. You two continue your conversation. I'll be right back.
Alright. Is he doing okay?
Oh, yes, he's doing alright.
He gives you a reassuring thumbs up.
Right.
Walks off.
Yeah, but now, as I was saying, it's... Tenzing, you know I like to... You know I play the part of fool, right?
Again, the concern comes back to his face, and it's also not only directed at both Alexis and the direction of Klaus, but it's also now, as he turns his head, directed towards Varric as well. Yeah.
Fools are often the people who have to bring light to an otherwise dark situation. They bring themselves to a point of humility to raise others to a higher standard. I've played the part of a fool for a long time. But the one thing that people don't know about fools is that they tend to also be the smartest person. They can see where sorrow holds and where it needs to be uplifted.
The people who smile the most also understand most pain. People who are quiet have the most to say. That sort of thing.
There's the smile and says, "You're not wrong."
Well, you are good with people, so it's, it makes sense. Though... What bothers me about it every time you've, sorry, I hear myself echoing on your side. Michael? Yeah.
Oh, here, let me switch. Give me one
Alright.
second.
What? Oh, God. volume. Okay. Okay, that's better. So he again, his brows are furrowed and his eyes are like squinting a bit in the sort of half grimace. I have nothing against wanting to bring light to other people's lives and want to make them laugh and be happy and be observant of their emotions and try to turn them around into the more positive way. That's very honorable. It's noble. It's very much you. But when you say you play the part of the fool, well, that's it. You're playing a part, and it's the way you word it. I mean, I know that's not how you feel, but the way you word it is as if this was forced upon you, that you're playing a role, and you put this imparting as the bard. You know, you make this your rule and in your duty, but it's like I've said before. It's not your duty to hold the world's burdens and sadness on your shoulders alone. You're putting yourself to the standards that aren't healthy, and given I want to talk, I've only recently started moving away from that mindset, but you're not alone, and you don't have to know everything, and you won't be able to know everything, and there are some things that you just won't be able to control, and you have to work with what you have. You're not playing a part of a fool, you are playing as... you're being yourself, and you are choosing to make the lives of others brighter. You're not a fool. As you said, you're actually rather smart.
Well, when I say I play the part of the fool, I do want to say one thing. Just because I play the part of the fool doesn't necessarily mean I am. They're a lot smarter than I am, that's for certain. But I have had points where, yes, I've sought out help. I'm not entitled to this, but can I tell you something that worries me?
Sure.
I haven't really heard or really felt Lil's presence strongly as of recently. Last time I talked to him was on Destalia, and I don't know if he's losing interest in me, but the only thing I felt of him recently was just a mere chuckle. And while I do appreciate any attention he may give, and I tend to keep following this idea of bringing light to a dark world, I don't know. I'm not the most religious person. I'm trying to learn, and I'm not sure if this is a sign that they're losing interest, that I'm not working hard enough, I'm not doing a good enough job. I'm not entirely concerned about it, because I tend to keep pushing it as I have to. But I don't know. It's you find something you didn't realize that you've never had in your entire life, but it's something that once you found it, it brought you a sense of comfort that was unknown to you, and now that it seems to be fading, I want to preserve it in a way, but I don't know how. I don't know if it's even right of me to try to ask for his attention.
He bites his lip and he twists it here and there as he's listening to him and thinking about it. He crosses his arms and looks off to the side. I think. I mean, if I remember correctly, the first time you met Malil, but that's the thing. You met him. You met a god, and that was so baffling to you to think about. And I'm not religious at all, really. So I don't know much about magic. I don't know much about gods and whatnot, aside from the basic things. But don't take this the wrong way. It's no. I mean, I don't know. No. It's not bad. I just. He scratches his head. I don't know exactly how to word this, but it's almost like, given what I know about other people and when they pray to their gods and whatnot, you've had it really good. It almost spoiled in a way. And again, it's not like you're spoiled. It's just like you had.
No, I understand what you're saying. Most people pray to a god and never hear a wink, but
yeah, exactly.
The guy comes and meets me. I understand that. It's just.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that you were given all of that, and now it just died down a bit, and maybe just. I don't think you have much to worry about. The fact that you already got so much attention from him, he still chuckles at you, right? You can still hear from him occasionally. Just because you've heard less from him, I don't think means that he has any less interest in you. It's like it's like you and me, right? We're still friends, and though the Chaos crew has died down a bit, and we don't do as many shenanigans anymore, and we don't even have as many conversations as much as we used to. That doesn't mean we're any less friends,
sorry
right?
about that, by the way.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We've had a lot of things happening. We're getting used to new people. But do you see what I'm saying? Is sure we don't talk as much anymore, but you're still my friend, right?
Absolutely. And you know what we should do is, after every mission, we should take 2 or 3 days off, just to sit down and relax like normal goddamn people. Everyone gets a weekend, why don't we? We worked for 3 goddamn months straight with no breaks, and they're the most traumatizing, most life-changing months of my entire life, and we only took a bloody week off. Well, bloody week plus 1 day.
Bloody week plus 1 day. I mean, if things turn out that way, and we, I don't know, just take a day to chill out and just do things like this, or just sit, or just even sleep for the rest of the day, maybe, if the others are willing. I mean, I'm fine with that, but I think, if anything, I guess mental break days of just resting isn't the worst. But we'll see how things go.
I suppose, but
I do agree, though, if things start to get very mentally and physically taxing, I don't think it's the worst idea to take the day off, just resting. So if I think if it seems like that way, I'd support you in that sort of goal.
yes, I am. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, just taking breaks even when we don't necessarily need them is such a bad idea, just to keep our sanity straight. I mean, god damn, I was nearly ready to break by the time we got back to Fingalfair. Tenzing, I'm not going to lie, I thought about leaving this lifestyle behind more than once as our journey continued.
Well, I don't blame you. I mean, I've had those thoughts myself before. Especially back when I was alone. Our lifestyle is hard. And choosing to do good and help people is also hard. And actively doing it, I mean, nothing's really stopping us from just going back home or just wandering off. aside from our conscious, really,
And our goals.
and our goals. Even
Which
then,
Which reminds me, not that this is happening anytime in the near future, but I had let Binky know that our services were available if she ever wanted to do anything about that problem of hers. So,
so you're hoping to help her along the way to try to find. That's your new goal, I suppose, right?
I want to help her, not just because I like her, but because I think she's a good person and doesn't deserve to be trapped. I would like, and so without consulting the group, and yes, I do apologize about this, even though you are probably not the person to be apologizing this to. I made a decision for the group without consulting. But
Something we're both learning how to do, I suppose. Well, you've already done it before. I'm the one learning.
yeah, again, just. By the way, did you ever have that talk with Teddy? Did that not happen?
It didn't happen yet, but it's
Rewind 5 seconds.
planned. Yeah.
Just, I mean, to be fair, I'm not as bad as you are, considering you offered 30% of our earnings.
Listen, I learned the hard way, and I know not to work with money like that again. Anyways, what was your thing?
Do you need a treasurer?
Anything. Anyways, what was your thing that you're concerned about and consulting the group for Binky's
Oh,
thing,
she might need us to track
situation?
down some rare components in the future. Just, I've already agreed us to do it. I do apologize for it.
I mean, we're already on the hunt for something strange, Liberium.
Oh, that reminds me. I was actually gonna go take a poke around Findlefair, see if anyone knew. I was actually gonna ask. I asked Binky on day 4 of our vacation. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, if she could
what?
look it. Varric was saying, I had asked on day 4 of our vacation if Binky could go and look into a charged Liberium in the south for me, and let me know if she found anyone who's selling it and how much that would be.
Oh no, she said she doesn't know anything about Liberium.
I asked her if she could look while she's in the Southern Empire's capital to
Oh,
take a
yeah,
look
yeah,
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, just to be like, hey, just if you get the chance, it's not a pressing matter, just can you poke around a little bit, see if anyone's actually selling that stuff and how much it is, if they are?
Got it, got it.
Hey friend, can you do me a favor sort of thing?
1 second.
And 10 quick question.
Okay, Mr. Fox.
I'd say with the way that Binky is,
I don't like that laugh.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on?
with the way that Binky is, the next time you talk to her, she would have said that yes, she found someone. And then when you ask for more details, like, okay, what's their name? And she'd be like, oh yeah, I should have asked.
Oh, no, Binky!
Did they tell you how much it was?
I didn't ask follow-up questions.
I would have asked her to ask those questions. Just be like, who is it? How much do they want?
You didn't say that in RP.
We didn't have an RP!
You said this is during the RP we had.
No, I said day 4. We had the RP on day 3.
He's implying if this is an implied thing.
Yes, this is something I am implying that I have done.
No. We're that, you mean the group one?
I just, like...
No, so day 4 RP didn't happen, but because we're on day 9, he's asking if this is something that he can even say with his talk with Tenzing, because implied information would have been there.
Oh, no.
Okay, so it's just still assumed that maybe Binky still had to ask, or maybe she didn't come back and has nothing to say to report yet.
Varric will just say, we'll just say Varric said something else. He's like, yes, I'm having Binky look into it.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, yeah. Right, so looking into that stuff. Well, I mean, from the looks of it, I don't know what Eric and Neri and Jaska, I don't know what their goals are. But if we're going to be traveling around, I assume we can keep that in mind wherever we go to ask about these components.
Yes, and actually I have a bit of insight on what Neri's goal is, though. They seem like they want to keep that to themselves. Just know that it's nothing that I disapprove of.
Alright. I mean, I'm still getting to know him as well, but, yeah, if you trust in him, then I'll take your word for it if it's nothing bad, because I know that if there's something of concern, you would say so.
Oh, absolutely. But no, he's a little bit private about it, but no, I think he's on the up and up. I don't sense any malice from him.
Alright.
The only Eric is a little. I'm still on the fence about him. I'm leaning towards liking him, but I don't know. And then Jasker, I just haven't had a chance to actually talk to. And let's be honest here, he's a little shifty.
I think clearly but from what I could tell, I mean, everyone here has their own troubles and demons. I think what's most important for now is just knowing that there isn't malice, and that's okay, and we'll learn about them along the way.
We'll see. Like I said, out of people I'm considering asking to join the Bronze Ring Company, after we give them a trial period, Neri's definitely looking like someone I'd want to bring aboard. Eric, I'm still on the fence about and would like to get a chance to know better. Jaska, again, I just haven't really got a chance to get to know him, and he seems a little shifty.
Yeah, I can't really pass any judgment on Jaska, because I think I've maybe uttered a sentence to him. I haven't really talked to him much, and I want to get to know him more. Maybe in the next watch I could take a watch with him or something.
He's just very defensive. He's like Klaus, but somehow even less. Like Klaus puts on a game, but then he'll open up to you once you have a good conversation or two with him. I don't get that impression from Jaska. He's actually plays his cards close to his chest.
Well, I mean, just like Klaus, it takes time, right?
I suppose, but still, I feel like with him, I don't know. With Klaus, it feels like more of a survival mechanism. With Jaska, it feels.
Oh yeah, it's already 12. He's got to go.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap this up.
Wrapping it up. I mean, we don't know.
We'll find out, I suppose.
It may be defense. It may be he has survival too. We just don't know. We'll get to know them, and from there.
Oh, I did want to show you something though before we go. Two things.
Oh, word.
And first off, Nikki, how much progress have I made on this butterfly? Can we say it's done just so we can say, so Vera can show someone?
Have you been working on it while we were talking?
Yes.
About an hour's passed.
1/3 of the way done.
Do you just want to say it's done so I can show someone before we leave?
We'll say you and Tenzing talk for a couple more hours. Until it's finished.
Alright. Vera just takes a very long, as he quickly finishes this up. Yeah, take a look at this.
Oh, what is that? He leans in a bit more, tilting his head. It's a metal butterfly?
Nikki, would you like to describe this?
You didn't have something specific in mind?
I had... Oh, okay, how about this? It is a metal butterfly, but it is a very, very nice and gorgeous looking metal butterfly. You can see there seems to be these small, intricate little carvings on it. And Varric, rubs, twists a little dial, and you can see the wings sort of flutter a bit on their own.
he gestures to hold it, and if he could hold it, and if he's able to, he'll look at it, turn it back and forth, and wonder, just like, huh. I've never seen you do tinkering before. Is this something you learned? Is this new skill?
I'm trying to learn. I'm still not very good at it, and I'll gesture for it back.
Well, and he hands it over. I think that's amazing, mate. Wow. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, they call me a jack of all trades, but in truth, I hope this sort of thing will impresses someone, and even if it doesn't, I still get the self-satisfaction out of it. I don't know, it's nice.
I think if anyone, impress yourself first, which seems like it, so I'm proud of you, mate. It looks really nice. I know nothing about these things, but I can at least tell if something looks nice. So, and this is very beautiful, as your work is.
I actually want to. After I'm done learning how to tinker, I kind of want to see if I can get, try my hand at enchanting and maybe let this thing actually fly one day.
One day.
And Zaku, for your perspective, I rolled 2 natural 20s to make this goddamn thing.
Holy shit.
Right?
Damn, that is a beautiful butterfly. And I guess we should end it from here. And say we just kind of hung out for a while and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hung out. Alexis delivered the water. And yeah.
This is something I'm asking for DM, and Heath, you can go to bed, go sleep. Thank you for hanging with us, even though you have a holy shit 12-mile walk. What?
Yeah, I gotta go to my bank tomorrow, so that's a 6 to 7 mile walk there, and then another uphill 6 or 7 mile walk back. So
we traveled uphill both ways. God damn it!
This is Canada. That's probably not too far off in BC.
Oh my goodness. I mean, enjoy the walk.